Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Bad Comic Review Streams. How's everybody out there in listener land doing? All right. Oh, first things first. Thank you, Retro V Gamer, for that very generous donation. Thanks for the entertainment on this monkey-free night. Yeah, Monkey wasn't feeling good. I think he's getting sick. He's probably got the flu or something. Hope he feels better real soon, too. But yeah, he decided to take a night off, and I don't blame him. But thank you so much for that donation, man. That really helps. It's been a rough month for all of us. Obviously, I'm feeling better from my bout of the coof. So this will be a little bit of a makeup stream. Let's see who's in chat. There's Peter. How you doing? BG, how's it going, man? Evil One, hi. Hey, old guy gamer. Oh, okay, man. Well, see you on the repeat. Have a good one, dude. Hey, Lesser. Hi, Retro. Hey, Young Geezer. Hey, Andrew. Hope you've had a better week than I have. Yeah, I hope your week gets better, dude, because my week was full of COVID, and my parents both had COVID as well, so it became a bit of a nightmare, but I'm feeling much better, so I hope your week improves as well. Hey, Merle. Hey, Raymond. Hey, nobody. Let's see, who else we got here? Hey, Otts. Hey, Viking. Hey, Costin, how's it going, man? JMK, how you doing? Simon, how's it going? Merle. Yeah, I miss Pete, too. I don't know what's up with that. Hey, Frosted. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Pete. I hope he's doing well. All right. A couple housekeeping notes. I did just post some videos which were linked at the top of the chat at the beginning of the stream. But yeah, I reviewed Gambit issue 1. Hey, Anthrax, how's it going, man? I hope your week improves as well. Man, everybody's having a pretty tough week. Sorry to hear that. I can't afford silver, Peter. How's it going, Eagle? Hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we got going on. I've been busy making videos, trying to get caught up because the COVID put me way farther behind than I already was. I did get a patron video filmed for one of the Masters of the Universe figures. That should be up probably beginning of September. Patron video is already scheduled for Tuesday. And starting on Monday, the reviews for Venom are going to pick up from where I left off, starting with Venom Annual 1 on Monday the 22nd. And I'm hoping I've already got them scheduled through the 4th. And I'm hoping to get the rest up because that's actually what I was working on, was getting the videos processed. And I've got 7 more of them to schedule. And I'm working on recording King in Black #3, but my copy of King in Black #3 is missing over half the pages of the book. So I have to go buy another copy and review that. So I'm really pissed about that because it literally only has like 10 pages of content in it. But all the ads are there. So good job, Marvel, you fucking scumbags. Ripped me off for $5. So I was a little pissed off about that because I've got every other issue of that series and the rest of Venom, but I wanted to get them all reviewed so I can kind of get rid of them. I'm getting rid of a bunch of comics that I've already done reviews on, and I want to get rid of the Venoms because I could sell those as a big bulk thing. It's a whole ordeal. And I know most of you don't care about that, but I do because I want to get videos done. So I do have videos scheduled, at least one a day through September 5th. I have Venom stuff scheduled through the 4th and some other stuff as well. I'm going to do a lot more older stuff and reprints, like the True Believers ones. So you're going to start seeing those probably on Wednesdays. I got some of the Avengers ones scheduled. And I do have a Fantastic Four one scheduled for September. So I picked up a giant run of Avengers not that long ago, thanks to my beautiful patrons. So I now have Avengers roughly 150 through 315 that I got for a steal. So I've got to fill in a few gaps after that. Then hopefully I'll get up to about 400 because I have sporadic issues after that. But I also have a ton of Batmans and Supermans to do. So I'm going to try and do more of those and try and do Supermans on a regular basis. That was originally the plan for this year anyway. I'm going to try and do those throughout the rest of the year because I want to get to the John Byrne run and read those. How's it going, Keldrick? Hey, Simon. I'll send you some screenshots of a graphic novel game for you to judge the artwork and storyline. Yeah, go for it. Videos process, that's new slang for rubbing the skin off it. No, but that is a good one. I'm totally going to steal that. Thank you, Oki. How's it going, man? Yeah, I haven't seen Pete in a while either. I don't know if he lost interest in streams or if he's sick or just busy. I hope he's doing okay either way, though. Going on vacation next week. I hope I can track down the rest of Power Rangers versus Godzilla. Yeah, man. I haven't read it yet. It's sitting here, but it's a great idea for a crossover. They've been doing some really good stuff with Power Rangers. That Turtles crossover was way more fun than I thought it would be. And Godzilla, come on, that's a given. Whoever has the rights to Shogun Warriors really needs to do a crossover with Godzilla because that would be awesome. To never have another cult, right? All right, let's get into some of the shenanigans. First two books were fun and well done. Yeah, they looked really good. I really like Freddie Williams' art for fantasy stuff. So seeing his art on a Godzilla cover really worked well. And I would like to see him do more stuff like that. Him and the guy that did the art for Garbage Pail Kids Madballs crossover, which, by the way, was shockingly fun. If I was like 10 years old again, I would have loved that book. It was really well done. So I'd recommend that one. But those two guys have similar art styles, and it showed that Freddie Williams and the guy that did the GPK Madballs book really are good for fantasy stuff like those franchises. So like I've said before, I think Freddie Williams should be doing like high fantasy stuff like Conan, Elric, stuff like that, because he's got a really good style. That Injustice book was really good for that. Godzilla what? Yeah, Godzilla and Power Rangers did a crossover, Grizz. And I would love to see Shogun Warriors crossover with them. And there's a lot of other books like that from the 70s and 80s that were just fun that should be brought back as crossovers. Samurai Pizza Cats. Samurai Pizza Cats should have a crossover with VR Troopers and just go full 90s with it. New Captain America run, it started off right. It's been going downhill fast. That's what I've heard. I skipped it. I refuse to support anything with Sam Wilson as Captain America, even though the books are separate. There's only one Captain America, and it's Steve Rogers. And whenever they deviate from that for too long, it gets really stagnant. And the writers they have working at Marvel and Captain America really don't seem to understand Captain America at all, or patriotism in general. So they really tend to fuck it up fast. Yeah, Grizz, if you didn't know about it, I highly recommend checking that out, man. And check out the Turtles crossover, too. That was fun. We are VR. Yeah, VR Troopers and Big Bad Beetleborgs. They're with the sales on Power Rangers being as good as they are, I'm surprised they haven't brought those franchises back as comics. Somebody should be licensing those. A few years back, somebody had the license for Dino Saucers, which I hadn't thought about probably in 30 years, but that, like Jason the Wheeled Warriors, Brave Star, Black Star, it's a good time for nostalgia. I mean, the Masters of the Universe toy line is fucking phenomenal. They're really nice toys. and they don't do shit to promote them. I can't find those toys anywhere around me. Like literally within a 50-mile radius, I cannot find those toys except for the Wave 7, I think it was, with racial swap Stratos, Jitsu, Buzz Off, and Sorceress. Those are the only figures I can ever find. Never leave cash on the table. Exactly. And you don't have a budget in comics. You can make all the explosions and stuff like that that you want. So it really is a great medium for fantastical elements like that. What I've read of the Ghostbusters stuff was pretty fun. The Transformers miniseries with Ghostbusters crossover was fun. Hey, Ada BC, how's it going, man? Hey, TOS. Went back and reread all the old Damage Control books. Man, they got done dirty in Miss Marvel. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Damage Control used to be cool, and then turned it into a generic alphabet agency. You seen She-Hulk? It's fine. I fell asleep watching it, actually. I got about 10 minutes in, and I was unconscious. That sounds like 4 times the lethal dose of 90s. You would think so, but it was shockingly fun. American Mythology had this great 2-part miniseries called Volcanosaurus. It's about dinosaur T-Rexes with volcano powers. They spat lava. That should be a movie on Sci-Fi Channel. But there were a lot of great franchises in the 80s and 90s that just never caught on or just got forgotten about. Like Silverhawks, people remember that, but they don't remember Jason the Wheeled Warriors as much. Saban and Levy were paying their actors $500 an episode if they got to season 3. Yeah. Oh man, those Power Rangers actors got screwed. Yeah, don't blame me, Eagle. It's a waste of time. It was hot trash. I tried watching it again earlier and I got distracted, and I watched the show called The Anarchists on HBO Max instead, and it was about moron drug addicts, basically. And there was a murder. It reminded me of why I don't live in Somalia. Not a SAG card on set. SAG cards are expensive, and people want pay rates, and that really cuts into those production fees. I mean, think of how much money they made on merchandising. I fell asleep to UFO documentaries the last few nights. I fall asleep to those all the time, Spittle. I love that stuff. It's great, and it does lead into weird stuff because, like, I'll fall asleep to something on UFOs, wake up at some point to some like random ghost documentary, and then sometimes I'll wake up and it'll be like the Incas, and I'm like, how did I get here? Sort of my usual internet adventures. Seen the first 4 episodes? I don't know. Oh, sorry, Anthrax. Thank you, Anthrax Allen, who says, here's to something. Thanks, dude. Yeah, I got a lot of bills coming up, so thanks, man. Sorry about the pain. Streamlabs can be complicated. Like comics, but I've not read them since kid in the 80s. Yeah, they haven't gotten any better. They kind of peaked in the 80s and 90s, depending on what company you're reading. Oh, hey, Buster. Oh, I'm glad your mom's doing better. Mine's doing pretty good. It's slow going at that age. You know, she's in her 80s. So they had a pretty rough time of it, but they're doing good now. They're doing better. Wasn't a fan of G4. G4 back then was... I never saw screensavers. I don't know what that is. G4 was okay for its time, but it was a product of its time, and it's gone now. That time has passed, and recapturing that, you're just going to be some average YouTuber. The Eagle Moss debacle? No. Has subscription to models of... Oh, no, I'm not familiar with that one. Hi, Mel. Hey, Brad. What's under Wright Patterson? All the cool stuff got moved once it leaked out that it was Wright Patterson, I'm sure. She-Hulk's first episode. Gosh, it was bad. Yeah, that what I saw of it was just lazy. Start paying Patreon through PayPal. Patreon refused to use my card. Used it on there for years, but only for your channel. That's weird. I'm sorry about that, Oki. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Patreon. If it falls apart, I have a subscribe star set up that I never advertise anymore because there's no point. But if Patreon falls apart, I'll move over there. Been collecting the Phalanx Covenant event. Yeah, I just got a bunch of those out of a dollar bin. They're a little beat up, but I'm okay with it. I just want to read them. Dark Horse went to hell. Yeah, they fell apart about a decade ago. They started getting like these overpriced healthcare plans for their employees, and it's really tanked their quality because their books are on par with Marvel for paper quality now, which is pretty shit. I heard Deadpool's got a new run going, yeah. Tech and computer shows canceled and turned into other gaming show, and G4 bought Tech TV. Oh, that doesn't surprise me. They probably just cutting corners. That's lazy. That's sad too, because shows like that, they're informative, but then a big company comes along and is like, no, that's too smart. American Ninja Warrior is a great show. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, like watching British Bake Off shows. It's not something I seek out, but I'll watch it. Yeah, I liked a lot of stuff from the 90s from like DC because when Marvel waxes, DC wanes and vice versa, because that's how it used to be anyway, because the talent would drift from one to the other. And DC in the 90s had a lot of really good stuff, but that all falls apart, of course, recently. Was that ship near the beginning of She-Hulk? I really don't remember it. Like I said, I fell asleep. I wasn't paying that close of attention. Oh, I did not know that, Oki. I don't know enough about the Deadpool comics. I never really got into it. I knew this chick that was real into it, and she was really super annoying. And her boyfriend was my roommate, and he dressed up as Deadpool, and it got really weird. And it was very form-fitting on his junk, and too many jokes were made, so I couldn't get into it. They wanted the teens, the gamers. Yeah, that figures. Yeah, I don't get that. Targeting everything toward teenagers is not exactly a very viable plan. No worries, Simon. Just hit the like button and share it on your social media if you would. That helps a lot. Won't watch the new. No, the new show's crap. G4, it's an element of its time. It's pre-internet stuff. Oh, 6 free bags of pasta. That's awesome. And hi, Ellen. Hey, Mike. Learned last year not to let the card used for Patreon expire. It's a hassle to update it. That's what you were saying, man. And I'm sorry you had to go through that, but I appreciate the support. Code Monkeys was great and couldn't get aired now. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that couldn't get aired now. Fuck American Ninja Warrior. Oh, dude, that sucks, Merle. Sorry to hear that. I understand why you don't like it. It's super annoying. Nice. Say the key demos 18 to 40. Yeah, that's unless you're like Disney Channel or something, the 18 to 40 demographic is what you want. Those are people that still watch a lot of shows, and young people have a lot of free time. So the like college age is always good, and before 40, you're not really set in your ways yet, as far as entertainment goes. Oh, thanks, Grizz. Thunderbirds. Those puppets creep me out. Marionette puppets really freak me out. I don't know why. They're like clowns, and I don't particularly like them. They scare me. Give me a minute to pull this up, and I'll cover this article as well. Thanks, Grizz. Yeah, I'm all over the place today. Sorry, guys. It's been a long week. The show pisses me off. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you're feeling generous, you could donate to the Streamlabs link pinned at the top of the chat in the description as well. And I will be checking it in between articles. Thank you, John. Money for Jack. Appreciate it, man. Clowns of puppets. Yeah, exactly. I have a cousin that's really freaked out by wide mouth puppets. Like Muppets, things like that. Like, he is terrified of them. I just get unnerved around like marionettes and ventriloquist dummies, but he's frightened. Like, he will go and shut down when he sees wide mouth puppets. So we had a lot of fun with that because we hate him. He's a douche. There's one JoJo villain you would have hated. Yeah, probably. I've never read or seen JoJo, so I'm aware of it, but not really into manga and anime stuff. Which, I'm a bad nerd by today's standards. I'm real bad. But that whole fad thing missed me by a few years. Like, closest I got was like Thundercats and Voltron and Battle of the Planets. But that was so westernized that I don't think it really counts. I have seen a couple of the Gotcha Man stuff, because that's what Battle of the Planets was based on. But I don't really remember any of them. We were more into like the 60s stuff, like Ultraman, Redman, stuff from the 60s and 70s. Ventriloquist dolls do creep me out. They should. They look like they're alive, and that's freaky. No. Ebony Devil. The name tells me everything I need to know. Weebs are one notch above furries, right? Yeah, we're around the same age, Eagle. I think you're a little older than me, but we just kind of had what was broadcast because, I didn't have cable for a long time until I was in like second grade. And even then, you were at the whims of whatever your parents would allow you to watch. Yeah. Handful and a half years older than I am. The manga and anime stuff. I mean, yeah. Am I timed? I don't think so. I'd be about 10 years. Oh, wow. Timed for what? Timed for love. In which case, we're all timed for love. All right, let's jump into some news here. And I'll quit rambling a little bit. Not a lot. I'm kind of in a rambly mood. I'm really hopped up on caffeine. Yeah, check out Grizz's comic book at amazingactionscomics.com because he's very talented, you guys. So check it out. Grizz, drop that link about, every 15 minutes or so in case people come in late. Hey, Camel, how you doing? It's powered by hatred. Wow. It's time for love. It's always time for love. Stay out of Mr. Rogers' trolley hood. Mr. Rogers' neighborhood scares me. It did as a kid. It creeped me out. Especially the weird puppet lady that lived in, what was that, the Jefferson Memorial or whatever? No, that one freaked me out. And I actually met somebody that looked like that puppet, and I almost had a fucking freak out. Partly because I was laughing so hard. Yeah, Richard, I grew up in a fairly difficult to get reception area, shall we say. So I know all about that. We had, I think, 5 stations, counting the 2 PBS stations. Yeah, absolutely, Grizz. Just woke up. Sleep is where Freddy gets you. What about Fraggle Rock? That was on HBO and never had it. I saw like 2 episodes of Fraggle Rock in my life. Oh, sorry, dude. We could get stuff out of Canada? Holy shit. I was lucky to get stuff out of Detroit. Canada. They were always on PBS. It was great. It was like Degrassi High and some other show that was Canadian. But then we'd get stuff on late night on one of the local stations that was like 2 and Forever Night, Friday the 13th, the series, all those like really low budget Canadian shows. If you never saw 2, that was really cool. It's about these twin brothers, and one of them was a psycho murderer, and the other one was framed for his crimes. Great premise, really good actor in the lead role, very underrated show. I think if it had had a better budget, it would have been a much better show, but great writing on there. CBC, yeah, we got that on cable when we first got cable. I never saw Space 1999. It's one that's on my list of things to watch, but never got around to it. Yes, Red Green, we saw that one too. The original Degrassi was good. This Next Generation stuff is shit. The first season was okay, but that was about it. Thank you, Okie Native. Have 1 pound of pasta or a half gallon of gas or half a pound of chicken. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I'm going to do that. Lex, I did see that on like Sci-Fi late night. Some of those shows had great ideas, but they just didn't have the budget to realize it. It was like watching old Doctor Who, which we will get to Doctor Who in a minute. Film an episode of Friday the 13th, the series at my university. Dude, that's awesome! I'm actually really jealous of that. I loved that show. I had that on DVD when it first came out, and somebody stole Volume 2. And one disc got a Volume 3. So they made a completed version. I bought that finally. But I love that show. That and Forever Night were 2 of my favorite shows. I watched those religiously, even though they were on like 2 in the morning on a Thursday. Degrassi did. Well, I was a kid. We only had so many shows to watch. How is your Streamlabs not pinned? It should be. Try refreshing. So the first 2 part of Knight Rider season 2 was great. Then the rest sucked. The original Knight Rider, that show's awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. That's heresy around these parts. Car race streaming. Did you ever see the buddy of mine introduced me to this? I'd never heard of this, but this guy built a racetrack for Hot Wheels cars, and he narrates them as if they're an actual car race. Forget what the name of it is, like Diecast Racing or something like that. It's shockingly entertaining. I don't really watch sports though, so I guess I'm easier to entertain. If you could watch Doctor Who, it meant you had great cable and it wasn't cheap. We had it on our PBS station. They'd do like they'd take the commercials out, or the because they were originally half-hour episodes. They'd take them and make them into one movie-length thing. Take the whole storyline, like the Brain of Morbius would be like a movie-length thing instead of 3 or 4 parts. Street Hawk, yeah. So I have that on DVD. Street Hawk was awesome. What was the other one? Shit. I can see it in my brain, but I can't think of it. The name of it. There were a bunch of those shows that were like super low budget. Crap. I just bought it on DVD. Hold on. I'm pulling up my Amazon looking this up. I hope I'm not screen sharing. Yeah, Street Hawk was cool. Of course, Airwolf. We only saw that occasionally, though. But that was basically Knight Rider in the air. And what's the other show? Crap, that's going to bother me now. Yeah, that's really going to... Yeah, we're doing this live. Deal with it. This is exciting TV shit. Listening to me scroll and mutter to myself like a psychopath. All right, I know it's on here. Just gotta find it. I did buy the complete Herculoids. I got it super cheap. And Thundar the Barbarian. I got those on Blu-ray. And man, they are fun as shit. Herculoids is a lot weirder than I thought. Automan. That was it. I bought the complete Automan. And that show had a lot of potential. But it just got silly for no reason. And that was kind of disappointing because the premise was actually way ahead of its time. And don't forget Super Force. And if you're old, Powers of Matthew Starr. Or Phoenix. Phoenix was cool too. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Night Boat. Now, what was the one with the... There was one that inspired that joke on The Simpsons. It was Knight Rider and the 101 Ghosts of Blackjack Savage or something like that. It was a Disney thing that they did 2 episodes of as like pilots on World of Disney. And it was about a guy with a cool boat who had a pirate ghost with him. It was fucking crazy. There's always a fjord or an inlet. Herculoids was a fun show. Yeah, those old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, man, they were fun. They had some great ideas. And like Thundar the Barbarian is one that I wish they had action figures for, but they didn't until like way later, and I didn't know about them, and now they're like $100 a piece. I'm like, no, I'm not buying that. But if they would put out some nice quality toys on par with like the Masters of the Universe Origins line, I would absolutely buy them. And by the way, there are some superpower figures out now. I just saw them today at Walmart. They had Green Lantern, Darkseid, Superman, and Batman. And the Green Lantern was Jon Stewart, which I was hoping to get Hal Jordan, but they didn't have one out yet. But if those do well, they'll probably have some more retro ones. But they're like the old superpower figures from the 80s. And they had the Supermobile, which was a little playing with the fists, and Batwing. Phoenix get an entire season? Oh, no, it got like 4 episodes. But I thought it was a cool premise, like mystical medallion, and you had that one dude that played the main character who was in a ton of stuff, but never really made it big. Mask, yeah, that was a good one. They brought that back as an IDW series for a hot minute, but the DC series was better from the 80s. They just didn't do it justice because they tried to do a big Hasbro universe, and it didn't really work with G.I. Joe already in there. Well, the Ghost Pirate that you should probably check out. Oh, cool. Yeah, send me a link on Twitter. Centurions, yeah. I always got Centurions mixed up with the Inhumanoids because the humans' costumes look too much like Centurions. So they should have done a crossover there. I think that really could have been good. Wow, thank you, Grisella, for that very generous donation. The most awesome dude ever. Keep making great, honest content. Thanks, man. I'll try. I love doing these shows. I'm so busy now, and that night COVID. So, but thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Dino Riders, yeah, I forgot about that one. There was a lot of really good ideas out there, and the stuff now can't compare. You have these stupid Steven Universe looking things, like that one clip that's been going around about people in hell, and the one kid's trans or something. I'm like, the fuck is this boring shit? Kids get ripped off. There's no imagination anymore. Like Transformers and GoBots were cool, but there were so many other properties out there that they had to compete with just for Saturday morning cartoon space. And now all of that stuff could exist simultaneously, and it's just forgotten about because it just doesn't fit their narratives or whatever. Yeah, there were some great shows. I even liked the Shazam show as a kid, mostly because they did that crossover episode with ISIS, which Secrets of ISIS was a great show, very underrated, and done more fun, I think, than the Shazam one. Because the Shazam show with its weird elder thing, that was kind of creepy. But that show had potential, and the guy that played Captain Marvel was great, but they made that one a little too kiddie. It was almost like Electro Woman and Dyna Girl levels of low budget. Rock Lords, yeah, I remember that one. Underdog. Today would be gay dinosaurs wearing leather. You're not wrong, yeah, sadly. Yeah, there's so many good ones. Secrets of ISIS hits a little different these days. Yeah, it really does. But man, that show was great, and that chick was hot too. Oh man, I had a huge crush on her. Her and Colonel Wilma Deering from Buck Rogers, which I got to meet Aaron Gray, and that was a big highlight for my adulthood, sadly. But that show was awesome too. I loved Buck Rogers. And me and my brother watched it about a year before he died. He had picked up seasons 1 and 2, and I forgot that show only lasted 2 seasons because we both thought it went for like 4 or 5, 6 seasons, but no, it only went 2 seasons. But they packed a lot of memorable stuff in there, and yeah, it's cheesy now to look at, but the show was fun, and I think that's something that's really missing from entertainment is the fun element. Everything's got to be deep and meaningful and political. No, some things should just be escapism. Scooby-Doo still kicking the crap out of modern children's shows? Pretty much. I did say that, Frosted. You're not wrong. Am I the only one here that liked Gem? Oh, we watched Gem because it was on. Same reason we watched She-Ra occasionally. You watched what was on. You only had so many shows, and Gem was well written for what it was. Yeah, that's true. I never really thought about that. Halloween episode, no Christmas episode. The Halloween episode of Greatest American Hero still haunts me to this day. And that show's also underrated. And if they ever rebooted it, they would totally ruin that. Because when they tried to do a follow-up series to the original where he passed the costume on to this chick, she was, of course, real into like healthy living and aerobics. I was like, well, you've ruined this show. And it never made it past the pilot because back then people knew better. But if you're an 80s kid, Glenn Larson basically made your childhood because he did all the really cool shows. Captain Caveman, Wacky Races, yeah. Oh, Dynamite and Blue Falcon. Blue Falcon was awesome. That's a comic character that should get his own series and aim it for younger audiences, like I keep telling comic industry people to do, but they refuse because they are too wrapped up in their own bullshit. But yeah, the Hanna-Barbera stuff was great. Johnny Quest, way ahead of its time. Speed Racer, yeah, I like Speed Racer. Oh man, there were so many good shows back then. They're morons. Yeah, pretty much. They don't like money. It's not about the money to them. It's not about the success. It's about sending messages. And that's not a recipe for success in modern era. Forgot it was parody of superheroes that made it fun. Yeah, well, you can parody stuff, but they just they've lost sight of of the fun elements of it. It doesn't have to be grounded in reality. That's adult thinking. Sometimes you just want escapism, and that means going over the top. Like Man from Atlantis, stupid fucking premise. Great show. You have 4 hours. There's a Secret of Monkey Island special edition video in a game called Games Pub. Never heard of it. I've heard of Secret of Monkey Island, but I don't know anything about it. Yeah, Powerpuff Girls was a good satire on superhero stuff. And who doesn't like saying Mojo Jojo? Oh, that's awesome, Grizz. Yeah, Man from Atlantis was a very underrated show. And for the limitations of its budget and the special effects of the time, it's a pretty good show. Plus Patrick Duffy. I mean, come on. But yeah, I got the movies of that on DVD. They're still over at my brother's house. I'll have to pick those up at some point. But we were rewatching all these old shows, and it made me realize how good a lot of that stuff still holds up as being for entertainment value. Because it's not preachy. It's just there to be fun. Like Knight Rider, I think, was great for that. And Buck Rogers, Man from Atlantis, Voyagers, Kung Fu. Kung Fu had a lot of really dark episodes. I'm surprised that made it 3 seasons because there were some really downer endings on that show. Great show, terrible movie. Yeah. Yeah, Alf was fun. I liked Alf. Born in 85, so I grew up with Saturday morning cartoons. Then President Clinton ruined it. Yeah, pretty much. A lot of the stuff that was more broad-based appeal, because it had to be, went away with the internet era and cable era because they didn't have to do that. They could do all this niche stuff like Adventure Time and Steven Universe because there was no need for it to be high quality. It could appeal to a select minor group. Misfits of Science should have been a TV show, but that was a great program in the 4 episodes or whatever it lasted. And it had Courtney Cox as a psychic. My favorite episode was the one where they had the hamburgers that gave old people superpowers. Great concept for a show. I was married in 1985. Oh my God. Wow. I never got married. Women don't like me very much because I'm so awesome. And I tend to say things that get them in trouble. Had an elf doll. Daughter traded me a teddy bear for it. She still has it. That's awesome. Yeah, Venture Brothers was a good take on the Johnny Quest thing. It's obviously a parody of those old shows, but those were fun. Venture Brothers cracked me up quite a bit. Knight Rider and Airwolf complete series on DVD. Wish I had time to watch them. Yeah, I try and put stuff on while I'm doing other things. It's the only way I get anything watched, and I'm still behind. But rewatching Knight Rider was a blast. Me and my brother would get together on Mondays while his wife went to yoga. And he had really nothing else to do because he was dying of cancer. But we'd watch shows for 4 or 5 hours. And that was awesome. That was some of the best times I've had in the last 5 years because we got to see a lot of these old shows that held up really well. And some of the writing was really good. If you want good sci-fi writing, Land of the Lost for a kid's show blows anything out of the water for sci-fi today because the writing was smart and it was fun. Yeah, it's a kid's show and it's Sid and Marty Krofft, so it's really cheesy. But they had some really recognizable sci-fi writers from the 70s on there. It's people that had worked on Star Trek. Yeah, Eagle, those are the times I'm going to remember the most. But the fact that we had watched all those as kids and then rewatched them as adults, and we still enjoyed them, that to me was a good mark of quality And it was a great time to spend time with my brother, too. Yeah, people used to do that, Simon. In the 90s, people experimented with photos as comics. There was one called Dorothy that was like a gothy Wizard of Oz take, and that used photos with some like dioramas and some art. It was really interesting ideas, but there were a couple of those. It works sometimes. Season 1 or Knight Rider was the best. Yeah, probably. I still think that's a show that would still hold up today if they tried to do the same premise. I never saw much of the original Lost in Space, but what I have seen of it was pretty good. I heard the Netflix series was pretty good too, but I haven't watched it. Kimba the White Lion? You mean the Lion King? The real Lion King? Never saw it, but I heard it was good. Really good writing is the key. It really is. It really is. Oh, thank you, Jack's Love Dungeon, who says, "We would love you long time, could use food, though. You have to earn the food. You guys know the rules." But thank you, Jack's Love Dungeon. Yeah, Oki, that was a lot of us had girlfriends like that. Farscape. I never saw that whole series. I only saw patchwork episodes, but I liked what I saw of it. It looked like one of those kind of surreal programs that'd be up my alley. You mean Macbeth? Yeah, pretty much. Hey, Monkey, how you doing, man? I only saw like one episode of The Boys. I didn't really like the comic that much, so it's just not for me. The show looked like it was well done, just isn't really for me. Hope you're feeling better, Monkey. All right, so let's get into this stuff since we've gone for quite a while now. Me just rambling. Fox News reported pop idol Darius Campbell Dinesh dead at 41. They still haven't released his cause of death, but he was a British star. I don't know who he is, but I'm old, so. But Rochester Police Department in Minnesota confirmed that police responded to a deceased person call August 11th. He was apparently a singer of some kind. The statement says local police have confirmed there are no signs of intent or suspicious circumstances. Cause of his sudden death is unknown at this stage while medical examinations continue. Born in Glasgow to a Scottish mother and Iranian father, Campbell Dinesh appeared on a reality show Pop Stars in 2001, making a splash with his intense interpretation of Britney Spears' Baby One More Time. He had more success later that same year on Pop Idol, an early Simon Cowell reality show. And then he had a single Colorblind and Dive In off his debut album, Dive In. So, unknown mysterious death, nothing to see here. He was married to Natasha Hendrich, which actually surprised me. Which she still looks kind of good here. But she's a little rougher looking now. So, yeah, if you're familiar with this guy, sorry. Nothing suspicious sounds suspicious, right? I always think cover up these days because 41 years old, just randomly dying. I don't know. She killed him. No, they've been divorced for like a decade. That they've all moved on, I'm sure. But 41 is pretty young for most problems. He didn't look like he was like morbidly obese or anything. Like he's not 500 pounds, so yeah, SADS probably. Now, in a weird one, there's an actress, Australian actress Laura McCullough. Now, I'm not as familiar with this person, but we have a lot of Aussies in the audience most of the time. so I thought it might be interesting. This comes from Wonderwall. Australian actress who had gone missing after Tinder date found alive in jail, held on felony. Family worried intensely for days on end when she went radio silent after a Tinder date. That usually means murder. On Tuesday, and kind of hoary. On Tuesday, August 16th, she was found alive and well in a jail cell in Los Angeles. You know, like you do. The actress had started several well-known musicals, went on a date in LA with someone she met on the dating app on August 12th. Whore! The following day, Laura didn't show up to any of her commitments and didn't check in with her family, sparking concerns in a manhunt. I'm not going to comment on how unattractive she is. Stop playing. Stop it. On Tuesday, her family confirmed that Laura was no longer missing. The admission came following Mail Online's reporting that Laura had been locked up for 4 days after allegedly becoming unruly at a restaurant. Oh, nice work. According to the Santa Monica Police Department, officers responded to a restaurant on August 12th after Laura got too rowdy. In the following moments, she made her situation much worse. According to the reporting party, a female later identified as Laura McCullough threw a drink at a restaurant patron and their 2-year-old child. Upon arrival, officers contacted Miss McCullough, who showed obvious signs of intoxication. I hope she didn't throw things at children while she's sober. While conducting the investigation, McCullough charged at the officers while yelling expletives, because that won't get your ass thrown in jail, idiot. Despite efforts to calm her, McCullough continued to display aggressive behavior. During efforts to detain her, she became physically combative, kicked at officers, and bit one officer on the shoulder. Laura McCullough, 37 years old, from Australia, was arrested, transported to the Santa Monica jail, and booked for public intoxication and resisting arrest. If they get her for assaulting an officer, she's going to do some serious time. And then they'll probably deport her. Los Angeles Sheriff's Department inmate booking log shows Laura is currently being held in jail on a felony charge with a $25,000 bond. After Laura was located, her sister Claire said on Instagram she's been found safe and well. Well, I don't know about well, but she's probably safe locked up. I don't know. Family want to thank everyone. It's been traumatic, blah, blah, blah. Feel bad for me. She recently moved to LA after being based in New York in 2021, where she worked as an actor, singer, voiceover artist, writer, and producer. She starred in an indie short film called COVID Support Group in 2022. Well, now she gets to do a lot of performances for a captive audience. So good job, Dum Dum. Can we deport Ezra? I wish. That dude's weird. Feel like he missed too many red flags. Yeah. Can you imagine being her date? Like, wow, this went in a different direction. That's why blind dates blow. Yeah, the Ezra Miller stuff's gotten weird too, but I'm going to wait and probably do a recap of the entire Ezra saga because it's still ever evolving. I thought of that at the same time, Evil One. Haha. Morning, Pete. All right, let's laugh at CW. According to Bounding, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Paramount sell the CW. New majority owner seeks to turn network around after admitting it's not profitable and operates at an ongoing loss. Who would have thought that? Maybe anybody that's ever seen their shows. In the latest shakeup, as part of CEO David Zaslav's attempt to right the company's production ship, really? Is Wilbur Wright involved in this, or Orville? Whatever. Warner Brothers Discovery and their partner Paramount Global have reached an agreement to sell a majority of stake in their co-owned network, the CW, to Nexstar Media Group. They were always rumored to be the ones going to buy this, who will seek to turn it profitable after years of operating at an ongoing loss. Nice seated position there, Miss Hustler, November 1987. Jeez. As announced on August 15th, the Nexstar Media Group has entered a deal to purchase a 75% stake in the Arrowverse home. Arrowverse is all canceled, so it's not really home to that. Both of whom retain a 12.5% interest in the network. and continue to produce scripted content for its airwaves through 2023, at which time the three entities will discuss the possibility of extending the terms of their agreement. Superman and Lois season 3 is recasting one of their main characters, so I don't know how long that show is going to last, because they're recasting Jonathan Kent. That dude just walked away from the show. This was stupid. I saw this episode, and man, that was dumb. Let's see. The largest owner of local television stations in the United States, 197 in total. Nexstar Media Group also serves as partial owner of fellow television broadcast network, the Food Network and Cooking Channel, as well as the parent company for political news outlet The Hill. Sorry, I still have a lingering cough from the COVID. Apparently that could take 6 months to go away. During a recent conference call regarding the company's newly announced purchase, Nexstar Media Group CFO Leanne Gila informed the various Wall Street analysts who are in attendance that their goal for the CW is to turn a profit by 2025. Good luck with that, since most of your shows are canceled. That's the dude, and this is the gayest person on the screen right now. So, yeah. Look at that face. That's like one of those Zoolander faces. Whatever. So, yeah, they're going to try and save this brand for some reason. They're going to have to produce better shows. But we'll see how it plays out, I guess. 25% Frankenfood, right? Yeah, good luck. They're not going to make anything other than more woke shit, I think. All right, and this is the article that was just sent to me by Grizz. So let's take a look at this. Eaglemoss update gives hope the Ghostbusters Ecto 1 build can be saved. That does look really cool. Last month, we reported that Eaglemoss Limited, also known as Hero Collector. I've heard of a Hero Collector. Okay. The company behind the 1/8 scale Ghostbusters Ecto 1 subscription build had filed a notice of intention. No, that's not good. While there's no official word for the company's future, leaving fans amid a build undoubtedly worried, some positive updates have come from within the community, providing a glimmer of hope. Earlier this week, Ben Robinson, project director of various collections that resided under Eaglemoss, including Star Trek, Doctor Who, James Bond, DC, and more, took to Twitter informing everyone that he had been laid off and was now free to talk about recent events, immediately apologizing to fans. No longer an Eaglemoss employee, so I'm finally free to talk about what's going on. This literally just happened, so I have to say two things. The first is I'm so sorry that Eaglemoss's communications have been non-existent. It's terrible, and I can only hope. He continued writing, the second thing I need to say is that there are people who are interested in taking over the build-ups and the other models. It's too early to make any promises, but people are trying, and we'll do everything in our power to make sure the projects continue. The message is I'm trying to rescue or resurrect all these projects. Oof, good luck. Following his post, Marvel Fix of My Partworks, who had been reporting on this story since the news first broke, reported that an ex-buyer for Eaglemoss has said that PCT, Premium Collectibles and Trading, has bought out the IPs, customer databases, and web domains for the majority of Eaglemoss build-up collections. PCT is already the manufacturer of parts for various Eaglemoss builds, including Back to the Future, DeLorean, Ghostbusters Ecto 1, the Enterprise NCCC 1701D, and more. The same report also mentioned that Hearthside Trading has picked up the non-build-up Eaglemoss product lines. Once again, while none of this is official yet, today's update does provide hope that the numerous pre-existing builds will eventually be able to be completed. Ooh, that sounds like that could go either way. But good luck to those of you that are backing this. I hope they are able to finish their models, but you never know these days, unfortunately. All right, we are at the hour mark, so shameless whoring. There's my Streamlabs if you want to donate. Like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. I'm only 10 out of about 150 kits. It's my dream card, and this sucks. Yeah, dude, that would blow. Well, I hope they get it sorted out. I don't like it when companies just up and fold and leave people in the lurch like that. That always sucks, and somebody's always getting screwed. So I really hope they can get that sorted out for you guys, for the fans. Because it sucks. You get your hopes up, you get invested in it, you get your money in it, and then they just up and disappear overnight. All right, let's talk about Wizards of the Coast for a minute. We're going to come back to them later to talk about D&D. But yeah, they're doing some weird shit with Magic the Gathering. Oh, glad to help out, TOS. Founding into comics, the same Wizards of the Coast race swaps Aragorn for Magic the Gathering's upcoming Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth set. Our goal is a modern take on the work of J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah, that's why it's been popular for 80 years. Because it needed updating every so often. Fuck off. Yeah, Aragorn's black now. Because he's probably gay, too. The latest example of Western entertainment's seeming obsession with reimagining Tolkien's seminal fantasy work in accordance with modern-day identity politics, WotC has revealed that their upcoming Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth set for Magic will depict Aragorn as a black man. I'm surprised it's not a black woman who's Muslim. Hey, look, it's that guy from D&D. Previously announced during the company's Magic Showcase 2021, upcoming Lord of the Rings themed set was teased as allowing players to team up with such established characters as Gandalf, Gollum, Frodo, Aragorn. Gandalf, who's that guy? This is obviously, and I do mean obviously, that wizard from Faerun. It's a battle for the One Ring, Scheme of Saruman, or Journey to the Heights of Mount Doom. A lot of walking involved. Look, there's Saruman for you. Ooh, he's so emo. Well, some fans anticipated the worst possible handling for the IP, given Wizards' reputation. Yeah, duh. In recent years, their fears were partially quelled by a combination of source material, accurate piece of artwork depicting Gandalf entertaining the Shire at Bilbo Baggins' birthday party. No, it's coming out party. Being put forth as the set's main preview image in a belief that no other interpretation of the series could stoop to the level of Amazon's Rings of Power. Challenge accepted, apparently. At least there was until further preview of the set was given. Opening of this year's Wizards presents a similar live stream presentation which touches upon the company's entire catalog of offerings rather than just their popular trading card game. Oh yeah, this is a big tableau. Look at that. Taking the stage on August 18th, freelance host Sydney Goodman began her tease of the set's 2023 release with the assurances that Wizards' design team had worked closely with Middle-earth Enterprises and dove deep into the source material to make sure to get it just right. And the cards and art in this series will have all the flavor and history of the trilogy. Yeah, Grizz, if I ever need to fall asleep, the Silmarillion is never too far out of reach. Doing weird shit? No, it can't be them. Oh, man, that'd be hilarious, Monkey. It looks like Trudeau in blackface. However, upon a reveal of the cards depicting the latter event, fans were quick to notice a significant divergence from Tolkien's original writings. Namely, that rather than having a shaggy head of dark hair flecked with gray and a pale, stern face, as depicted in the books, Wizards claimed to have followed ever so closely. The last chieftain of, I can't pronounce that, of the North was depicted as a short-haired black man. On their own, they're glorious pieces of art, but put them together, you can see the entirety of the story as if turning pages in a novel. Expanding on, yeah, apparently not. Expanding on the set's upcoming release in a follow-up blog post published by their official website, Wizards shared their excitement on how the look and feel of the world, the characters, weapons, the locations, and the story moments are going to be intimately familiar, yet fresh and relevant for a wider audience. The folks at Middle-earth Enterprises take their roles as stewards very seriously, and every decision about characters has been made with deep reverence to the original, except where they just race swap somebody for no apparent reason. Wrote Wizards content manager Adam somebody or other. With that in mind, together we set out to make a set that follows two guiding principles: diversity and originality. What? You just contradicted this. We take our role as stewards very seriously, but the principles of diversity and originality. We're sticking to the source material very closely, except for where we've changed it to be diverse and original. Fucking idiots. That's news speak, man. Of the first goal, What's-His-Face said, The Lord of the Rings is about different peoples of Middle-earth coming together to fight Sauron. Finding the strength in their diversity, we want to make sure this appealing story fresh and relevant to an even wider audience. No, you're going to make it to a narrower audience. In terms of the set, he clarified that the goal of the set is to express the story and setting of Lord of the Rings and cards for Magic the Gathering, noting that while countless prior efforts have painted vivid pictures of the world, our goal is a modern take on the work of Tolkien, lovingly crafted for a new generation of players and fans. So this is going to come out sometime next year, and it's going to be super woke. And I bet this is the least of the offensive shit you're going to see is generic race swapping, which is to be expected, unfortunately. Middle-earth Enterprises need to be hurled into Mount Doom. They pretty much are owned by Amazon at this point, I think. So R1's going to get blacked? Yes. Modern take equals bullshit nobody wants. Yep. Oh, hey, Keeper Dam. I just read page 1, Mike, and then I fall asleep because that book is boring as shit. So yeah, more woke crap coming out of Magic the Gathering. But we are not done with Magic the Gathering, because that is not the only thing they announced. We'll jump over here to Dice Breakers, which is super woke website for pseudo gamers that are mostly fake nerds, from what I can tell. Magic the Gathering is getting a Doctor Who set in 2023. Because they're not done shitting all over Doctor Who yet. Now they got us farm it out to Magic the Gathering to fuck up. Magic the Gathering will cross over with Doctor Who next year in a set marking the long-running British sci-fi show's 60th anniversary. It's the latest in pop culture collision to emerge from the Card Games Universe's Beyond series of mashups following the cards based on The Walking Dead, Godzilla, Fortnite, and Street Fighter, not to mention the TCG's upcoming 40K and Lord of the Rings sets. Yeah, you heard that right. Walking Dead, Godzilla, Fortnite, Street Fighter, Warhammer, and Lord of the Rings, and now they're throwing Doctor Who in there because they don't hate enough franchises. They haven't ruined enough stuff with their PC bullshit. The Doctor Who set for Magic the Gathering was announced during Wizards Present live stream, revealing that the set will launch in Q3 2023 at the tail end of Magic the Gathering's 30th anniversary celebration and the beginning of Doctor Who's 60th anniversary. The very first Doctor Who episode, starring William Hartnell as the first Doctor, was broadcast November 23rd, 1963. And they've done everything they can to retroactively wipe out that white old man as much as possible, even though he went through dementia while filming his series. So, whatever. Way to minimize his efforts in science fiction and the longest running sci-fi show ever. Wizards of the Coast confirmed that the Doctor Who set will span the entire 60-year history of Doctor Who. Well, we could shave off the Matt Smith and Beyond years as far as I'm concerned. Featuring all of the doctors, their companions, and villains. Expect to see Daleks and Cybermen, the original Cybermen or the shitty remodels, on MTG cards, along with first bits of art teased were Tom Baker's Fourth Doctor, Matt Smith, and Joe Martin's Fugitive Doctor. Joe Martin should not be on any of these cards. That should be fucking written out of that shitty retcon, that entire thing forgotten, and it was stupid and never should have happened. But, of course, the wokies are going to push that shit. I mean, these two white dudes, really? Along with illustrations of Gallifrey and the TARDIS. Set will include What's-His-Face's upcoming 14th Doctor, who is yet to make a public appearance on screen. First episodes featuring the sex education actor. That's the name of the show he used to be on. Are reportedly due to film this autumn ahead of the expected broadcast next year. Wizards teased that the Doctor Who Magic Gathering would feature content that is not yet public, including elements from the forthcoming season. So there's going to be 4 commander decks alongside collector boosters, the game's pricier packs containing rares, foils, frames, alternate art, and other visual variants will apply alternative treatments to the cards, and they haven't said how many cards. But yeah, it'll probably be a fairly big set. So there you go. They're going to ruin Doctor Who in a trading card game, which they've already had a couple of trading card games for Doctor Who, one of which was actually pretty decent. I never played the other one. And they've had some like deck building games as well. I think I have one of them around here somewhere. Yeah. I think I've got one. Anyway, that's what it looks like on the... I can't see the shelf from here very well. But the board games and the role-playing games were way better. Crucible 7's RPG was pretty good at first. Then the redos really didn't look that good. I got the Peter Capaldi one that's sitting around somewhere, but Fast's version was way better. Time to clean floors and bathrooms. Ooh, good luck, dude. Doctor Who ended years ago. Sadly, yeah. Yeah, Magic Gathering's basically Fortnite. You're not wrong. It's because their sales are flagging that they're doing a lot of this stuff. They started it with D&D when they did that big crossover, and that actually boosted sales. But it's because their card quality has slipped. Like, if I actually opened a pack of cards for one of the unboxings on Roll for Sanity, and I left the cards sit out, and like 2 of them were kind of on their own, and they curled up into an arch because the foil on it was putting pressure on the sides of the cheap cardboard they're using. It's really, really lazy. Yeah, the Ninth Doctor was more in line with the original series, like how they would do things. And even David Tennant was pretty close, but that got kind of... The Donna Noble storyline was pretty stupid, and they started getting kind of weird and dumb with stuff, making it kind of pseudo-nerd. Yeah, the retardus. You're not wrong. But then they got into the Matt Smith stuff, and they started just like abandoning storylines. Like they did that Impossible Girl storyline with Jenna Coleman, and then by the time she left the show, they just completely ignored all of that. So they just got stupid with everything. The writing got worse and worse. So yeah, it's really disappointing what they've done to Doctor Who over the years. So very disappointing. Thank you, Pete Hupp, for the donation with no message, man. Appreciate it. And thank you, John. Tolkien News. Oh, let's see what this is. There's a link. Load. That's from Ars Technica. Let's look at this real quick. Sorry, I can't control the coughing. I can't mute in time. There's just... It comes on too quickly. All right. Embracer acquires rights to Tolkien-related IP. Teases new Lord of the Rings films. Oh, yeah, that'll go over well. Swedish game publisher Embracer Group has racked up headlines in the past few years thanks to megaton acquisitions of video game studios, and on Thursday morning, the company announced it had grown further still. Its latest acquisition spree includes one surprising company outside its usual purview, Middle-earth Enterprises. This company is better known as the exclusive handler of all Lord of the Rings and Hobbit novels, along with all intellectual property derived directly from those Tolkien fantasy masterworks. The financial terms of this deal were with previous handler, the Zansky Company, were not disclosed, but Embracer is already eager to tease brand new feature films, including the aforementioned novels characters. No production date's been set. They're probably going to farm it out. Yeah, okay, that's actually really interesting. Looks like they're going to pick up some more stuff too. Foreign stuff mainly. Video game type stuff. So there you go. I'll drop the link in the chat for those of you that want to read more on the acquisition. I knew it got sold. For some reason, I thought they actually sold it to Amazon, but I guess Embracer got it. Thanks, John, for the info and the dono. Appreciate it, man. All right, Variety's reporting HBO Max removes about 200 Sesame Street episodes. The older Sesame Street stuff was way better. Once they introduced these stupid kid ones, the weird drug addict one, whose mom was a crackhead or something, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. Brought to you by the letters GONE. The content purge at HBO Max continues as the streaming platform has pulled 200 older episodes of Sesame Street. And remember, they did, when they first released Sesame Street on DVD, they did put up a disclaimer saying it's a product of its time because the old episodes aren't woke by modern standards, even though it was always a pretty progressive show. Really hit the wall when they brought Elmo in. They made it more kiddified then. The removal of Sesame Street episodes and other recent content by HBO Max appears to be part of new owner Warner Brothers Discovery's belt-tightening moves aimed at reducing streaming content payment obligations. As of Friday, HBO listed 456 total episodes of Sesame Street, with a selection from seasons 1, 5, and 7, and the full lineup from the most recent seasons 39 through 52. Of those, only 29 are from the earliest seasons. Previously, the streaming service offered about 650 episodes, including episodes from seasons 2 through 4, season 6, and those from every season between 8 and 35. Warner Brothers Discovery confirmed that HBO Max removed several older episodes of Sesame Street this week. It's also been an important part of television culture and a crown jewel of our preschool offering. An HBO Max spokesperson said in a statement to Variety, "We are committed to continuing to bring Sesame Street into families' homes, but only the new episodes. Fuck those old ones." You get the general idea. They're doing new ones too. There's a 10-episode Sesame Street Mecha Builders. What are they, fighting giant robots now? Yeah, Elmo and Abby really ruined it. Plus, after you find out that the dude puppeteering Elmo was accused of kid touching and porn or whatever, something like that, then yeah, it kind of creeps you out. So there you go. They're cutting a bunch of kids programming because they don't want to pay the licensing fee, most likely. I'm not sure who owns Children's Television Workshop now, but apparently it's not Warner Brothers Discovery. But they've been cutting a lot of stuff, and there's rumors that they're going to do more cuts because they're trying to be profitable, basically. I like HBO Max, too. It's a pretty good service. I like it a lot better than I like Netflix. Give Elmo your skin. Yeah, no shit. Too hot for TV. Yeah, it's all like, Oh, you want to learn something, little boy? Aren't there just 4 novels? No, there's a bunch of like ancillary works they did and partly finished scripts. I don't know, man. I think that's you're kind of beating a dead horse. You could make new versions of the movies every 20 years or something. Or you could release a role-playing game or maybe a video game that follows some new characters or secondary characters. I don't know. It's not much you can do with the pre-existing stuff though for Lord of the Rings. Although a Sesame Street Lord of the Rings crossover might be in order at some point. So I know there's some Disney fans out there. And if you have deep pockets, you could get a new Goofy figure. It's from Bleeding Cool. Goofy joins Donald Duck and the gang at Good Smile Company. They're adding the iconic character of Goofy. Goofy's ready to join your Disney collection with an impressive amount of detail and loaded with character. Swappable hands, eyes, and mouth parts will be included along with a displayable musical note. Goofy's hat will be able to be removed, and I know it's not much, but I absolutely love that it does. Okay, weirdo. Good Smiles teased that Disney's Max will also be heading our way along for fans to capture some father and son. Dude, don't call it father-son action. Jesus Christ, Bleeding Cool. Have you never been on X videos? The Nendroid Goofy is priced at $80.99, set to be released next May. Pre-orders are live and will stay open until September 28th. So if you want this giant-headed action figure that doesn't really do much because he's got weird knee joints, this is going to be for you. The Donald one looks super happy. Look at that. That dude just won the lottery. Now he can afford pants. Elmo Baggins. I think Big Bird Baggins sounds better. That'd be my porn name, I guess. Sun is up, the sky is blue. Another glorious day in the People's Democratic Republic of Ireland. Oh, nice. Well, good luck with that. So there you go. If you want to spend $80 on a Goofy figure, that's going to be for you. I can't read that out loud, Pete, but that's funny. All right, let's jump over to comicbook.com. They're taking them up. It's the Isengard, right? Edge of Spider-Verse brings back Spider-Ham, introduces Cinderella-themed hero Spinstress. Because that's what Spider-Man needed, was a Cinderella-themed version. Fan favorite spider hero returning? Yeah, okay, big deal. Edge of Spider-Verse, this looks dumber and dumber every time I look at it. September issue, it continues the Spider-Verse tale being cooked up by a host of creators. That means crap. All leading to the launch of October's Spider-Man #1 by Dan Slott. So that means the book's going to be late, and it's going to be about a bunch of backup characters that nobody cares about, and it's going to be boring as shit. All right, so Edge of Spider-Verse will see thrilling additions to the Spider-Verse family, new status quo for existing Spider heroes, and more clues that what will bring about the end of the Spider-Verse event teased for later in the year that, if judging by the sales of this one, nobody's going to really care about. Issue 4 features Spider-Ham, Spinstress, the Spider-Mobile, and Sun Spider. We talked about Sun Spider last time, or the time before. That looked dumb enough because that's the like crippled Spider-Man character. Spider-Ham returns, big deal. Spider hero, unlike others, makes her dazzling debut. Meet Spinstress, a spider princess who sings, talks to spiders, and kicks villainous butt through her kingdom. Anytime you use kicks villainous butt or phrasing like that, it sounds like a 40-year-old wine mom trying to be exciting to her 8-year-old nephew that hates her. And she probably has like box wine breath. The writer of a Broadway smash hit, Come Far Away, brings her life alongside some artist whose name I can't pronounce. Check out her stunning design by Helen Chen. No, I don't want to. More than just awesome vehicles, Spider-Mobile is a superhero of its own. Oh, that's so funny. Dan Slott again. And we talked about Sun Spider already. It's the crippled Spider-Man. So there's Sun Spider with her walking sticks because why not, right? And there's Spinderella there, Spinstress. Oh my God, you know what I really need is Spider-Man only as a minority woman in a prom dress. That would be the bestest ever. Marvel deserves to be shut down at this point. Same with DC. They are just asking for cancellation. Can we just have, Spider-Man? No, he's a cis white male. They've done everything they can to water down their own intellectual property with this crap by coming up with all these nonsense characters. And Miles Morales was bad enough, but they've watered down the brand of Spider-Man into oblivion. You can't have Spider-Man anymore. Elmo Gamgee. I'm not sure, Mike. I don't remember. I know there's some stories where because he had the Spider-Mobile for a little while and it went kind of crazy on him. But I think the joke was always that he didn't have his license. But I think there are some stories out there where he was driving, but I don't know. Nobody, Peter, based on sales. The customers are not the people that go out and buy the comics. The customers are the comic shops and librarians. So they don't have to sell this to us. They have to sell this to the comic shops. And unfortunately, a lot of people that run comic shops are dumb, apparently, because they buy this shit. But there is some good news. I do have some good comic book news. Trans Spider-Man shoots webs out of her lady penis. Dude, don't give them ideas, Cougar. They might actually run with that. But yeah, there's some good comic book news out there. And that is Jeff Johns is ushering in a new DC Comics Golden Age. Comic-Con saw the announcement that Todd McFarlane is reteaming with Greg Capullo for a Spawn and Batman comic. The author of this says, I was also told there will be some sort of Stan Lee's take on DC comic characters. Yeah, that's not new. That happened like 20 years ago, idiot. They're going to re-release those. And now DC announces a new Golden Age is being ushered in this November from Jeff Johns. I am hoping Warner Brothers Discovery and CEO David Zaslav continues to clean house, and if there is a house that is in need of cleaning, it's DC Comics. Most likely what Zaslav will do is just shut it down. He's going to look at the sales numbers, look at the trash they're putting out, and cancel it. But DC has been making some really weird moves. They've got some good books, and they've got a lot of trash. If they would just get rid of the trash and stick with the good stuff, then maybe hope, but there's not. Check out the official announcement below, which offers Jeff Johns is doing the new Golden Age. There was a mini-series back in, I want to say around 89 called The Golden Age, and that's kind of what they're playing off of here. And he's also back on Justice Society of America and doing a 6-issue Stargirl series. That's good news because Jeff Johns actually likes comics. I don't like what he did with Captain Marvel, but I understand why he did it. New Golden Age starts this November. Spinning out of the conclusion of Flashpoint Beyond, the new Golden Age starts the strangest mystery to ever plague the DC universe. That's a bold assessment. We all read Challenge in the 80s. Justice Society of America returns to the ongoing series by Jeff Johns and Michael Janin. I'm not a fan of that art style. It's too anime. But I will read it because I like Jeff Johns. 6-issue Stargirl, The Lost Children on sale November 15th. So this comes out November 8th. So that's creeping up. 48 pages too for $5. That's actually not a bad price, because Marvel charges $4 for a 20-page pamphlet that they call a comic book. Variant covered by Gary Frank. That should be good. So yeah, there you go. Art by Steve Lieber, Jerry Ordway, and Diego somebody or other. Oh, that McCall guy's just doing the cover. There's 3 artists listed, so that means that it's going to be an anthology book, which I fucking hate. Just give me one long story, you sons of bitches, you cheap bastards. After making their long-awaited return in the pages of Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths number 3, the Justice Society of America are back in Justice Society of America, the New Golden Age Part 1, or are they? A long-lost hero from the JSA crashes into our era with a grave warning, but it's too late. A mysterious and malevolent enemy has invaded the entire history of the JSA, and an all-new team must come together to defeat it. But what deadly secret does this messenger from the beyond keep? Where are they from, and why is all this happening now? Only the Time Masters know. Oh, they're bringing the Time Masters back. That's cool. There will be familiar faces rejoining the team like Jay Garrick and Alan Scott, as long as long-lost members returning like Beth Chappell and Yolanda Montez. A new Golden Age legacy hero first hinted at in the end of Flashpoint Beyond. Justice Society is going to be a monthly title written by Johns, featuring art by Michael, whatever this guy's name is. First issue will be available November 22nd. Well, the other one said November 8th, but whatever. This art sucks. I don't like this style. See, they don't know how to draw lips. This anime, pseudo manga anime style, is really fucking irritating because nobody has any lips. They all look like they're fucking zombies. That's dog shit. Look at that. So Justice Society is going to be on the 22nd. And I guess the Golden Age is going to be on the 8th. So 32 pages at $3.99. If that's all story, that would be phenomenal. So there you go. Justice Society's back finally. And they're getting an ongoing from Jeff Johns, which if you haven't read the JSA and Justice Society of America books, JSA was, I think, the 1997 series, and the 2001 series was Justice Society. Those are really good. I recommend them. I haven't read them in a while, but I've got the complete sets for both around here, and I've been meaning to review them. Probably only still up because I had to produce a woke comic. Well, I hope it sells well for you. I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm a big fan of comics, but I'm not a big fan of ham-fisted politics. Comics have always had political messaging, but you don't have to beat it into my head. You know, I don't care if a character's gay. I just don't want to hear about it all the fucking time. It's tiresome. It's not entertaining. Sandman was good, but highly feminized, plus some unnecessary plot and character changes. That's code for taking a shit. Nice. Well, yeah. I don't pay for taking a shit, though, so it's slightly different. It's more like smacking yourself in the face because it feels good when you quit. But yeah, the Sandman Mystery Theater was a great comic. It had some kind of progressive leanings, but it was a really well done book. I'm not a huge fan of the art style. I haven't read those in a long time either, but I've got a bunch of them laying around that I've picked up over the years. I got a big run of them out of a quarter bin of all places. And the guy's like, I don't even know what these are, but I thought they were Sandman. And it's just some stupid old guy running around in the 40s. Yeah, it's a better book, you asshole. Neil Gaiman's overrated. I'll maintain that till the day I die. But yeah, the Sandman Mystery Theater was really good. And the JSA books were good. Are you going to try a review of the comic by the Rippaverse guy when it comes out? Yeah, I'll review it. And if and whenever somebody is associated with Comicsgate, if and when is a very good way of putting it. I don't trust many of the crowdfunder guys anymore. So like I've said many times, there's like 4 crowdfunders I will back because I know I'm going to get the books. That's Alterna, Iconic Comics, Top Secret Press, which generally are late, but well, they're usually on time. Last couple have been late, but I'm not that worried about it because they've always delivered. And Preston Poulter, who hasn't done anything for a while, as far as I can tell. But I liked White Lily. But I'll back those guys because they produce. And the stuff comes in and it's usually on time. Like I said, a couple of top secret books are running a little behind, but there's a paper shortage, so I actually do give them a little bit more room on that one. But like a year and a half for your one comic book, that's fucking dumb. Why would you ever back that person again? Or people that say, oh, well, you know, you're not entitled to the book. You're backing me. After they've promised you that they're going to deliver and they're always saying customer first. Yeah, I'm not giving you my money. That's why I stopped backing Richard Meyer's books. I'll buy them secondhand, usually cheaper off eBay, but I'm not buying them. I'm not backing them anymore because, first of all, 4 of Richard's books were late. And then he's like doing this thing where like, you're backing the vendor, not the hot dog. You know, fuck you, dude. You're just saying you're not going to send me what I paid you for. So screw you. But yeah, if they would stop burning their customers, they'd probably be making a lot more money. Van Sciver has something really good going. He's making millions of dollars on his crowdfunders, but he's too lazy to do his books. Didn't that make Beast gay in the late 90s? No one cares because he's not spending his time trying to date. People don't read action comics for romance. Yeah, I don't give a shit who the gay characters are. I want to see explosions and fighting. I don't want to hear about who you're fucking. It's not interesting to me. Romance in comics is at best ancillary plot points. It's not really that compelling to me. And you know, you got Lois Lane and Mary Jane, they're always in trouble kind of thing. But they've decided that this is a very, very important element in comics, and romance comics died out a long fucking time ago for really good reasons, because girls don't read comics. Get burned enough and you stop touching the stove? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Cougar Knife. Exactly. I'm giving you money because you're promising me a book, not because I like you so much. That's fucking ridiculous. If you like someone and don't want something in return, you donate to their Streamlabs. You don't go out there and be like, hey, I might give you this book if you give me $50. No, that's fucking stupid. Which, speaking of which, Grizz, you haven't dropped your link in a while for that comic. Gaiman has refused to say it that way. Yeah, I don't know. A guy man, that sounds redundant. I get really pissed off about the crowdfunding thing because some of these guys are really ruining it for others that are smaller, that are trying to be up and comers, that are trying to pursue something they love. And you've got these big guys that have made like $1 million or hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're not producing their books. And people are getting gun shy about it, not supporting smaller people because they're like, if the big guys will fuck you over, what are these little dudes going to do? And the little people are the ones actually producing it. They're actually sending out their stuff. It's really sad. Why are there such paper issues? I don't actually know. A lot of it's COVID restrictions and like Print Ninja, where a lot of indie companies get their stuff done, is over in China. And with all the shipping delays, there's a lot of weird supply chain issues. Like paper isn't getting cut down or cut up because there's COVID lockdowns over in China, or they can't get it shipped well enough or quick enough because prices went way up. It's a whole stream of things that went wrong. honestly, if you're going to get anything printed as a comic, pay the extra and have it printed in the US or Canada. It'll cost you a lot more, but you're much more likely to get it in a timely manner. And have the stuff done ahead of time before you launch a campaign. So we eat the vendor? No, I don't think we're allowed to eat people. Schlock Mercenary, the comic was already out in print in an online form. Stuff I got arrived on time. Nice. Supply rates, it's harder to get paper now. Yeah, the prices on everything are going up. You've got all the shipping problems with, like, California's restriction on only trucks built within like the last 10 years that meet certain emission guidelines can even come into the state. You've got problems at the ports because of bad planning, and the dock workers are threatening to strike. They want more money, that sort of thing. You've got a lot of issues there. Lumber issues, transport. It's a whole litany of things. You really could, Peter. They make binding machines that do stuff like that. So I don't know. There's a lot of reasons for it, but I would just hire a printing company in the States that would cost you a little more, but it'd be worth it to not have to deal with incoming stuff. Yeah, manga is using the old formula for comics. There's a lot more action. They're appealing to young men, which is what comics should be doing. Instead of accepting that, they've doubled down and say you're just a bunch of bigots. Yeah, Cougar, they're going to make us eat the bugs first. Just becoming more noticeable. Yeah, pretty much. All right. Over on ICV2, Ryan North, Ivan Coelho launched new Fantastic Four series. Oh boy, look at that quality art right there. Look at that. Look at the thing. Taking a massive woke comic right there on the floor. I am not a fan of Ivan Coelho's art. I think it's dog shit. I think it's amateur hour, and the guy needs to do a lot of refinement because he has no sense of anatomy. He can do perspective shots pretty well, but the art style is just something I absolutely detest. And Ryan North, you may know that name because he's in fact the person that wrote Squirrel Girl. But Frank Miller is going to do a cover, so I guess there's that. Taking the reins of Fantastic Four with the new series, which will launch with Fantastic Four #1 on November 9th. Remember they just rebooted Fantastic Four like 2 years ago? The first issue will have 2 covers by Alex Ross and a variant by Frank Miller. The latter's first Marvel work in almost 30 years, and it's going to be on a Ryan North comic. Marvel says they'll be doing more variants in the future. They must be shoveling a lot of money at him. North, the writer of The Unbeatable, Squirrel Girl, and Coelho, the artist for Venom. Artist is a pretty bold term. Plan to take the team in a different direction from Dan Slott's run on the series. You mean it's going to not be boring? I doubt that. It's cultivated with the Fantastic Four saving the entire multiverse. Where Dan Slott went big, North and Coelho will go small with self-contained stories of a more intimate scale. Oh, so there's going to be a lot of talking and eating. In the first issue, Ben Grimm and his wife Alicia travel to a small town and wake up the day before they arrived, having gotten caught in a time loop. Oh boy, so Ryan North saw Groundhog Day. Good job. Reed and Sue Richards will be the spotlight characters of the second issue, with the third focusing on Johnny Storm. Wow, this sounds riveting. Let's check out the gallery. Well, that cover's cool, but way too much heavy pinks. That looks like somebody was playing with the color filters. And again, these are pinups. What is happening in the book? It doesn't tell me. And they're not going to introduce these characters. You're going to have an issue 1 where you're introducing one person from the team. That's dumb. Like, are you going to tell me their origin, or are you going to tell me they don't recap anything in issue 1s anymore. They just assume you know who all these people are. Well, people are picking up issue 1s to try a series out. They want to know about the characters, and they're probably not going to do any of that. Yeah, it's that episode of Stargate, pretty much. Not the dreaded time loop. Yeah, it's only been done 1,000,000 times. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What a waste of time. Yeah, I'm not buying that trash. Might take a free copy, but I'm not buying that. Speaking of trash, I'm not going to buy. Marvel teases an SOS for Mutants and X-Men in 2023. Alongside an audio message of SOS spelt out in Krakoan and Morse code, Marvel Comics has teased something X-Men related for January 2023, with the message coming in January. Yeah, you just said that. SOS. Stay tuned next week for more information about New Age of Mutants coming to the X-Men books. Oh boy! Unless they're going to wipe out Krakoa and start over with the X-Men, I have zero interest in this. I don't like supervillain books that much. If I were to make a guess, might it be Apocalypse? Well, I don't know. This is literally all we have. And they're going to go on to speculate about Apocalypse. He needs the X-Men's help, is the general gist here. But that's all speculation. They literally just did this. So they're doing another X-Men event, even though we just had 10 of Swords, which was like 20-some parts long across all the X books. I don't fucking care about the X-Men anymore. If you want good X-Men stuff, go to the past. Buy the X-Men Legends book. It was like 12 issues long. And the new Gambit miniseries takes place during Uncanny X-Men like 265 to 267, where Storm got de-aged. Those are going to be way better. Don't buy this new trash. I don't fucking care about your supervillain books with your ethno states. Fucking ridiculous. Getting angrier as the night goes on. Aren't they supposed to be fighting each other? They're fighting currently with the Eternals and the Avengers, which the first issue wasn't bad. But if they're not going to fix the X-Men so that they don't live on an ethno state, it's going to be pointless. I think what you're going to see is Marvel Comics rebranding it as the Mutants and getting away entirely from the X-Men name to kind of go along with the MCU. All right. Over at DC Comics, according to comicbook.com, DC's Death of Superman 30th Anniversary special armband revealed. Special as in like unique and not like special. It's the 30th anniversary of the most shocking events in comics history, and DC Comics is celebrating in several different ways. Cash grabs. That moment is, of course, the death of Superman. DC will deliver some brand new stories set during the events of the Death of Superman 30th anniversary special. Those who remember the original story will likely remember the black and red armbands that DC released. Yeah, they came polybagged in Superman 75. And then the heroes war in the comics after the death of Superman, and now DC community has revealed the first look at the new armband. The armbands in the original were really, really cheap. They were like participation trophy awards. Death of Superman 30th Anniversary Special Number 1 will celebrate the legendary battle between Superman and Doomsday with 4... Why are you celebrating the death of the Man of Steel? With 4 all-new stories from the original creative teams. We kind of talked about that last time. So here's the bag they're using for it. It says 30th. There's the armband, which looks slightly nicer than it originally was. It's coming out November 8th. Let's see, is there a price on here? 30th Anniversary Deluxe Edition will feature Superman Day of Doom number 1 through 4 for the first time ever. It will hit comic shops on December 6th. It's going to be expensive. There will also be a Superman 75 Special Edition that will feature the original stories and will hit comic shops November 1st. There's no price on this 30th anniversary one, though. So there you go. There will be a souvenir armband. So that's a gimmick. These bonus things are rarely worth any money. So it's just a gimmick to get you to buy it. These writers, the helmet special wearing special ones, yeah, pretty much. No black mutants allowed. Well, they didn't let the Jewish girl on the island. Kitty Pryde couldn't go through the Krakoan gates, which reinforced my theory that that it's an ethno state. Which I have a file photo of Professor X. See if I can find that real quick, because it cracks me up every time. I put that together in like 5 minutes, and every now and then when I see something on my timeline from Marvel, I'll post that picture. Let's see. Do I still have that? Yeah, probably not. Yeah, it just pisses me off that they destroyed the X-Men. Always annoys me when they ruin perfectly good franchises for woke points. I don't understand why they do it either, because you have something that works really well and has made a lot of money, and then you're like, let's radically change it to something totally unrecognizable. But they don't care what fans think. If they did, they wouldn't do this shit. Anyway. Butter made from black fly larvae. Yeah, I saw that, dude. That's fucking disgusting. Chinese do have their fingers and everything. You're not wrong, JB. Don't know what to tell you, man. But I do know that there is an interesting action figure coming out. And that is the sideshow debut of the new Clint Eastwood Legacy figure. Yeah, Pale Rider, buddy. Clint Eastwood has some of the best movies around, blah, blah. This is a 1/6 scale Clint Eastwood Legacy collection, bringing his iconic roles to high-quality figure form. Looks like they're going to bring back the Wild West with Pale Drive as the preacher has arrived. This figure, beautifully crafted with an impressive likeness of Clint Eastwood, finely tailored fabric outfit, and revolver. Sideshow loaded with Legacy collection feature will detail from the spurs to the ammo in his belt. Priced at $275, August 2023, with pre-orders live right now. So let's take a look at some of these images. Do they have a slideshow? No, of course not. Let's check that shit out. That is actually pretty cool. Some good detailing on the clothing. Look at that, individual bullets. Wah, wah, wah. $275 is way out of my league, but if this is something that you might be interested in, it is a pretty nice looking figure. That would look really cool in like a curio cabinet. I'd want to play with it, but you know, I'm a child, so look at the detailing. That even looks like his face. Right down to the like kind of snarl look. The doll's too masculine, right? It is badass Gorbag, right? Good, Bad, and the Ugly Eastwood is cooler. That's a tough call, man. Pretty much every Western he's in is pretty solid. Damn, that's some nice detailing, though. Look at that. You got different hands. He's got the quick loaders over here. Spare bullets, the spurs. Damn, that is a nice looking figure. These sideshow figures always look really cool, but they are way out of my ballpark. I don't think I could bring myself to spend that much money on one because I'm not in a high enough income bracket that I can justify dropping that kind of money. When I be like, well, I could get some brake pads, or, it's just this is definitely something that's out of my league. But maybe if you're into Clint Eastwood, this would be something for you because it is really fucking cool looking. But that is a really, really expensive price point. Yeah, I heard there was a Dirty Harry one. I didn't look at it because I'll start wanting one. And like I said, a little out of my league. But if you want, the link is in here for the pre-order. So if it's something you're interested in, don't break your bank over it. But that's true, Cougar Knife. Brake pads don't make my shelf look cooler. Right, Mike? It's expensive, but foot tall character, it's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, my target needs gas as well. Like I said, I can't justify that price point, but if you can, and that's something you're interested in, pre-orders are open. And I'm sharing because I care. All right, let's take a look at ICV2. Mark Silvestri returns to DC for Black Label series. Image Comics partner Mark Silvestri is returning to DC Comics, a publisher he worked with rarely, but not for over 20 years, to write and draw a series starring Batman and the Joker as they team up toward a shared goal, the company announced. DC will publish a 7-issue Batman the Joker, the Deadly Duo, under its Black Label Mature Readers imprint, launching November 1st. As the story opens, Harley Quinn has been abducted, Jim Gordon's disappeared, and strange Joker lookalikes are walking through Gotham City collecting severed heads. Like you do. The Joker's desperate to rescue Harley, and when someone sends a package to Batman containing a piece of Gordon's flesh, the Joker suggests they team up. Yeah, because he's full of good ideas. First issue will feature main cover by Silvestri, variant covers by both Batman of both Batman and Joker by Greg Capullo, 1 in 25 by Kyle Hotz, 1 in 50 variant by Silvestri, and a 1 in 100 by Jorge Fornes, and a 1 in 250 signed by Silvestri. Issue 2 will be out on December 6th with a main cover by Silvestri, Batman and the Joker variants by Kelly Jones. Okay, I don't care. They're going to be $4.99, so that's not as expensive as a lot of the Black Label stuff, which tends to be around $7-8. So this is going to be normal comic size and not that magazine size they usually do. I might check this out. Mark Silvestri is not bad as far as quality goes. I know what to expect. But let's take a look at the image gallery real quick. I like the old style cowl here. That's kind of neat. Okay. That's a cool cover. Joker variant. That's kind of cool. A little too artsy for me. I don't think I'd have it hanging up, but it's a well done piece. I like the bats. That's the Kelly one. Oh, they look like kind of ghouls. Yeah, cool. So I thought this looked kind of cool. It could be interesting. Could be really dumb too. And the John Wayne one is decent. Oh, John Wayne sideshow piece. Oh, my dad would love that. Cougar Knife, they don't care anymore. It's not like we haven't seen those two work together before, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense every single time. It's always ham-fisted. Could be good, though. And after seeing what they've been doing with Batman last couple of years, I'm willing to look at it just because it might be good. Eastwood's better than Wayne. I'm on the fence. I saw a lot of John Wayne stuff as a kid, but it's just not my thing. I see why people like him, but I think it's one of those generational things. Speaking of DC, though, DC goes back to the 90s with new Wildcats and Wildstorm series. They need to keep Wildcats and Wildstorm in their own universe. Stop trying to force them into the DCU. It doesn't work. DC Comics is going back to the future in November with revivals of Wildcats and Wildstorm, new and old Batman Spawn crossovers, and an array of variant covers and reprints. Here's what's in store. Wildcats by writer Matthew Rosenberg. Ew. Woke shit is what that's going to be. It returns as an ongoing series that pits the Epitomist team against a group of covert operatives sent out by the Halo Corporation, followed by an encounter with the Court of Owls. See, they're in the DCU. That's terrible, terrible plan. First issue will go on sale November 18th. Covers by Jim Lee, Art Germ, and Ben Oliver. Whatever, I don't fucking care. Then we've got Waller versus Wildstorm, 4-issue miniseries set in the early 80s during the slow thaw of the Cold War. Amanda Waller and Adeline Kane have teamed up, and Jackson King has them in his sights as Stormwatch goes up against Deathstroke and a host of other DC villains. Written by Spencer Ackerman and veteran comics writer Evan Narcisse. I don't know who that is. DC will publish the miniseries in prestige format. It's going to be $6. That's coming out November 15th. Wildstorm 30th Anniversary Special Number 1 is a 96-page one-shot that will reprint the short stories from the hardcover Wildstorm, a celebration of 25 years, as well as news stories about Wildstorm's characters in the DCU, which is a huge, huge mistake. That was one thing I liked about Captain Atom Armageddon. Captain Atom accidentally gets kicked over to the Wildstorm universe. This is when DC first bought Wildstorm. And basically has an adventure there, and he is like the Superman of that universe because he's vastly more powerful than almost anybody over there. And it was an interesting idea, but incorporating them into the main DC universe has not worked. It's not that interesting. There's already, these people are all kind of knockoffs of characters that already exist. So it just doesn't really work. Batman Spawn, the classic collection, will reprint War Devil by Doug Moench, Chuck Dixon, Alan Grant, and Klaus Janson. And Spawn Batman by Frank Miller and Todd McFarlane into a single volume. Those are actually pretty good, as I recall. $20 for a hardcover. That's a really good deal. New Batman Spawn number 1 by McFarlane and Capullo will be 40-age one-shot. We talked about that a little bit ago. Be published in December. And finally, DC plans to run at least 15 1990s themed variant covers. Nobody gives a shit about your variant covers. Oh, look. Oh, we're paying homage to the 90s. Ha ha ha, because remember, he had long hair. Look at this shitty art. This is something a high schooler who doesn't read comics would think is funny. First of all, this is not pointed at his face. It's pointed like way over here somewhere. So nice perspective shot there. Ah, we're funny. So yeah, I'd be interested in the reprints of the Batman Spawn stuff. And I might check out one of these. Like the Wildcats one might be interesting. I haven't read Wildcats in 20 years. These articles are supposed to capture the reader's attention in a good way. Do they understand this? No, they don't. Yeah, they do need a special helmet. You're not wrong. I'm afraid of no Boger Man. Right? So there you go. All right, let's talk about Warner Brothers Discovery. Because we've mentioned them a few times. They're kind of a big deal in pop culture right now because they're shaking up the industry. Oh, yeah, it is shill o'clock. Thank you. Nobody, not me. If you're enjoying the show, please hit the like button. Share it on your social media. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you're feeling generous, you can toss me a couple bucks at the Streamlabs link. Donations are not expected, but always appreciated. Because I like eating. And I'm fat, so I need a lot of food. Over at Variety, Warner Brothers Discovery cuts 4 top OWN executives. They are so far into gutting stuff that they are hitting the OWN network, the Oprah Winfrey network. They're like, no, we don't need you. 4 top executives. That's actually kind of a big deal. They let go 4 top executives, including Karen Grant, Selma, and Jennifer Gideons of the Oprah Winfrey Network. Variety has learned exclusively. Grant Selma serves as general counsel for the network, while Gideons is chief marketing officer. Chief marketing officer, probably redundant since Warner Brothers Discovery will already have that position. Same with legal counsel. Additionally, Nicole Nicholas owns executive vice president of communications, exiting her role at the network. She also heads communications for Harpo Productions, Winfrey's production company, and serves as Winfrey's personal representative. That's probably a lot of conflict of interest there. She will now transition into focusing on these roles full time. Mary Beth Coonan, head of programming and scheduling for OAN, is also on her way out. The news adds to a long string of high-profile exits since David Zaslav took over as CEO of post-merger WBD. However, most major departures before this came from Warner Brothers' side of the equation, including the CEO and chairman Ann Sarnoff. That was a huge one. And global communications head Joanna Fuentes, to name a few. Well, OWN is a Discovery property. They haven't done a whole lot because Discovery already had a pretty clean house. They were actually making money. And now that they're merging, Warner Brothers is a bloodbath. It's been bleeding money for ages. They're very poorly managed. But Zaslav is coming in and being like, no, I like money. Let's make more of it. And he's firing a lot of people. And a lot of his decisions have made really good sense. He seems to have a really good handle on what is going on in pop culture and what he wants to see happen. So I think he wants to get back to a more traditional money-making model as opposed to political nonsense. He's the one that shut down CNN Plus after it was up for 10 days, and he's like, no, this is a money sink, or 3 weeks or something. It didn't even last a full fucking month. I think they only had 10,000 subscribers anyway. Winfrey established the network in 2008 with Discovery and Harpo each holding a 50% stake before Discovery upped its ownership over time, holding just under 95% as of 2020. Which, if you've ever seen OWN, they don't produce a whole lot of their own content. They rerun a lot of investigation Discovery stuff for obvious reasons, and a lot of the stuff they do produce is garbage. I think they do own that All Black channel, but I'm not positive on that. But there is a lot of stuff that they have on there. They're just repeats. And why do you need a bunch of high-end executives for a channel that is basically a rerun of another channel you own? So yeah, these people got fired or are parting ways. But let's face it, they probably all got fired. Useless people. Yeah, they're redundant positions. Harpo, what's up, bro? I think, wasn't Harpo owned by Lucille Ball at one time? Isn't that her old production company? The ones that did Star Trek and shit like that? Don't go against Oprah. She may sit on you. There's that. She's still very powerful. But yeah, I think Zaslav is just going to start cutting stuff down to the bone. Spectre is the host, just villains after the crime getting spooked to death by the Spectre. That would be cool. A Spectre series would be great. I maintain that DC should trim down to 12 high-quality titles, put them on the prestige format to where they're perfect bound, like the regular trades, and have more pages in them. And just stick with like your core titles. You got like Batman and Detective Comics, Superman Action Comics, Wonder Woman, or a Justice League book, Green Lantern, your big guns, Flash. And then have like a couple of team books because you'd have like Justice League, Justice Society, and then do a couple of like rotating series, like you have Brave and the Bold and DC Comics Presents, or Adventure Comics, where you could have different characters interacting. Like DC Comics Presents would be Superman team up, basically. Brave and the Bold would be Batman team up, and then Adventure Comics where you have different characters rotating through. So you could do like a Hawk and Dove story, and then as an issue or a mini series, and then go on to another one, and then a mini series every quarter, like a 4-issue or 6-issue mini series that comes out, and then it ends, and then a new one starts to replace it, and that's your 12th title. And then build on it from there. Build back your reputation, and get rid of the stupid politics bullshit. I think it would work out a lot better. And then it'd be higher format. They could compete better with like the mangas, because they could, if they put it in prestige format where it's perfect bound instead of stapled, you could put it in bookstores. Oh, Desilu was a Ball's company. My bad. Thank you. Harpo's Oprah backwards. Yeah, but I was thinking there was a Harpo production company that wasn't involved with Oprah. Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of, Frost. It is 4 a.m. Hey, Hazmat, how's it going? Stop with your good ideas. Yeah, well, that's how they used to do it back when they had a subscription service. They had limited number of titles and you could subscribe. But I don't think they need to go back to that. But they should have it to where they're more competitive with the mangas. And in order to do that, they have to get in places where mangas are already sold. Walmart, bookstores, other places that have younger audiences and that they'll be on the same shelves with. And a lot of this stuff needs to go back to being targeted toward like middle and high school kids. You need to have it aimed at like it was in the 80s, where it was accessible by everybody, but your target demographic was younger people. Because otherwise you're going to have everybody age out and die off. That's why one of the reasons the industry is dying is the older people have a big collection of stuff and they're not that interested in the new stuff. So they're just not buying it. And they're at best, they're buying trade paperbacks. And those are really expensive. So you're not getting any new people there. So if you want to capture new readers, you have to go where the new readers are, which is in the manga section, in bookstores. And of course, Walmart. You got all your big box stores. Around my area, we have Meijer. You could probably get books in like Piggly Wiggly for that matter. But you do like these prestige format ones where they're like 48 to 50 pages for like $7 or $8. And then you'll probably be able to sell better. And then you'll have less clutter and you'll only be keeping the titles that are known to work. You got your big guns, Superman's, Batman, stuff like that. And then you don't have to worry about a lot of these stupid ancillary characters that for some reason get their own books. This is my idea, but they should also be doing reproductions of old stories for like dollar stores on regular floppy comics with the staples and for $1 a piece. Do like Marvel used to do Marvel Tales where they'd reprint old Spider-Man stuff. Do stuff like that. You don't have to do original stuff. You've already paid for all these decades worth of stories. Just take some old Batmans and reprint them. Who cares? And some of the old ones are really controversial because he had a gun and they were like, oh, they had some Asian stereotypes. So fucking what? Reprint them? The controversy will sell books. They probably won't be as popular as they used to be, but at least you'd have a steady market as opposed to the dying off that they're doing now, and they would have better opportunity to get new people in. Yeah, in like 3 hours, I have to go drive somebody to work, man. I feel you. People just don't read anymore for the most part. Sadly, that's true. Direct PDF downloads. I buy my hentai that way. Yeah, the digital comics do not sell very well. People just don't like the format. They want to be able to hold it and look at it that way. But yeah, you could get PDF downloads on Drive Through Comics. Same way with like Drive Through RPG. It's owned by the same company, but if you want RPG books or comics, you can buy them that way. Yeah, exactly. The old ones have already paid for themselves. You don't need to pay any new artists or anything. At best, you have to put up a new masthead on it for reproduction. So like the True Believers line did, and but those books weren't consistent because they'd have like part one of a story, and they were advertisements for the graphic novels. But if they would reprint an entire series that way, I think it would sell. And you'd get older fans that want the reprints of these expensive comics that they can't afford and buying them for like $1 or $2. They did it with the DC Comics. See, it was DC Comics, the Batman Adventures, where they reprinted the old Batman the Animated Series comic line for like 7 or 8 issues. Then the paper crisis hit. But they were $2 a piece, and they were on nice paper. And it was a reprint of a book I'd read 20 some years ago, but it was a good all ages book, and they were really nicely done. And then they just kind of quit because I don't know, but it was kids would read that. I saw that at the comic shop. Little kids were reading those books, and instead of trying to get those into dollar stores like Family Dollar or something like that, they just sort of like threw them out in comic shops and forgot about them. It was an afterthought. Hey, Yumi, how you doing? It's always available. You can still go back and watch it. I can't read anymore. Did you go blind? That's true, Spittlebuggy. Yeah. I know a lot of people like the PDF stuff, but they just don't seem to be that big of sellers. All right, I forgot if I dropped the link for this, so I'll do it again because I'm too lazy to scroll up. Can't trust myself with paper or anything. I know the feeling. All right, we only got 3 articles left, and they're all kind of interconnected, I think. Oh, no. Oh, I forgot to cover a death. Anne Heche died. She got in a bad car accident. She went brain dead, and they waited till they could harvest her organs. And then they pulled the plug. So she had a lot of problems, not the least of which is cold water here. But she died. She ran into a person's house. So if I remember correctly, it caused a big fire. So, yep. Thought we should cover that. So we actually only have 2 articles left. Yeah, I don't know. There might be something more to that accident, but it looks like she may have been drinking beforehand. That's the speculation I saw. I don't know, but it's a pretty horrible way to die. It wouldn't surprise me if there was something suspicious there because this is Hollywood and there's usually something suspicious there. But I would like to look more into it one of these days when I get some free time because it does look kind of fishy. And in Hollywood, they're all into weird shit. So, oh, she was working on a child trafficking film. Yeah, that was total assassination then. That's my opinion, YouTube. I have no evidence of that, but let's all do some math, right? I'm surprised Corey Feldman's still alive. How old? She was like 53. She's completely out of the accident, but when they're wheeling to the ambulance, she got up. Oh, wow. You've done the Doctor Strange article. No. Let me pull it up. Sorry, Frosted. I kind of forgot about that. Let's do this before we get into D&D, because why not, right? Not going to add any other articles, though, because I'm starting to get tired now. I got a bunch of shit to do. Time to play games while I listen to Jack's awesome voice talk about grim things, apparently. It's always a hit and miss with me. They had her in a body bag and then she sat up. That's messed up. I don't think that's it, Jim. No, I wanted to cover the article, Frost. I just forgot. That's from Fanfare. It's Medium. Exploring toxic motherhood in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Spoiler alert for a movie that came out months ago that if you didn't see it by now, you're probably not gonna. Second Doctor Strange movie, The Multiverse of Madness, tackles a lot of elements. It serves not only as a vehicle to expand on the multiverse, a real theoretical concept, if you can believe it. No, really? Wow, thanks, Mr. Wizard. Where the MCU is now connected to an infinite amount of parallel universes, but an informal introduction to mutants, as well as a sequel to the first Doctor Strange movie and the TV show WandaVision. There's a lot to cover here, but the MCU has always weaved countless threads at once. That's kind of its whole point. Is it? I thought entertainment was its point. The critical response to Mom has been mixed. Some loved it, some hated it. Many have thought it's just okay. My personal take is that although it was fun to see characters like America Chavez, why? And Patrick Stewart's Charles Xavier, spoilers, the film did not utilize its multiverse concept very well. I thought it did okay. After watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, I kept waiting for Mom to up the ante on fantastical premises, only for that moment never to arrive. Maybe you shouldn't compare it to a movie that's in a totally separate genre. Everything Everywhere All at Once is not an MCU movie, so you're comparing two different things. That's on you, buddy. Yet it's the motivation of the primary antagonist of Mom, Wanda Maximoff, Elizabeth Olsen. Call me Elizabeth. That I want to focus on here. Her desire to be a mother at any cost represents how the institution of motherhood can be a toxic force in our society. So you want to get rid of all babies? What's your issue here? And I think that it's topic worthy of discussion. What is motherhood? I don't know. What's a woman? No, I'm not calling individual mothers toxic or evil, just as a generalized collective. We're talking about motherhood as a social construct, by which I mean a concept created by collective consensus in our society. Yeah, that's usually what happens in a society. We have a collective notion of what something is. It prevents fragmentation within society and allows for communication to be more effective. Otherwise, you end up with the Tower of Babel, where everybody's talking past each other because nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. That's called anarchy. It can also be viewed as an institution, i.e. a structure with specific rules, norms, and expectations, usually enforced through direct or indirect violence. Really? That's interesting. The institution of motherhood usually involves having a baby. Yeah. Come see the violence inherent in the system. Help, I'm being repressed. I'm being oppressed. Oh, no. In other words, motherhood is a concept we have not only made up, but we have actively encouraged others to follow. You didn't make it up. They squirt actual babies out of their crotches. I know, it's weird, but you can actually see this happen in real life. It's crazy. The statement may be controversial to some. No, it's just stupid. To some who believe that motherhood is a natural phenomenon as opposed to a supernatural phenomenon, do you think that if you're pregnant with a baby, you were enchanted by a wizard? I'm not sure I'm getting what you're putting down here. Intrinsic to the human experience. Well, for women, it is kind of a biological thing, yes. That's why they have that giant opening between their legs. It feels really fun when you put stuff in it. But the truth is that the way society has conceptualized childbearing has changed throughout history. Really? As opposed to, what, did people think that you put plant seeds up there or something? Even within the context of the U.S., mothers used to be far more hands-off with primary child care than they are today, with expectations of parenthood having increased dramatically over the years. Well, they do push this like helicopter parent thing now. And back in the old days, people died in childbirth because of infection. They didn't understand germ theory. So they'd have babies in these dirty, dirty beds and get an infection in their hoo-has, and then they died. So there were a lot of stepmothers back then. And now that medical science has been like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do things on dirty sheets, people survive a lot longer. And I guess that's changed motherhood a little bit. The further back we go, the more things get stranger from our perspective. Maybe you should get out of your bubble and read books. For much of European history, childbearing was a devalued activity that aristocratic women would happily outsource to wet nurses, nannies, and other institutions of care. Yeah, child rearing was often pushed off on the servants because, vanity, I guess. But that's rich people. As Cat Stevens wrote about the medieval... Kate Stevenson. Okay, Cat Stevens is a different person entirely. Wet nursing was a low-status, low-paying task. Yeah, you just had to feed a kid off your titty. It's not that's not... You're not building like bridges or anything here. You're just letting a kid suck on your boob. Even in the context of women's work, which is quite the contrast to today, where breastfeeding for mothers is heavily encouraged. Well, it's still encouraged, and technically the wet nurses were mothers. They were people that had kids that still were producing milk, and they would just nurse other people's kids. Maybe chicks just didn't want their nipples all gnawed up. I don't know. I'm not an anthropologist. Going back even further, anthropologist Blaffer Hurdy, that name sounds fake, has argued that originally child rearing had far more cooperation between the sexes. Okay. It relied on a dense network of care between parents and allo parents, i.e. grandparents, siblings, friends, and truthfully still does. Yeah. Welcome to poverty. Hey, Grandma, I need you to watch this kid while I go to my job. Mothers, Hurdy argues, were never biologically wired to raise children all on their own. Okay. As the old saying goes, it takes a village. No, it takes babysitters. That's what these people are. They're babysitters. You're designed to raise children. Sorry that you people are dumb. Yes, people get pregnant, and if they're lucky enough, the child they have received some form of care. But our current conceptualization of what that care is, i.e. motherhood and family, is enforced through both incentives and violence. Ooh, violence. Oh, you let your grandparent watch this kid. Time to beat you. Do you live in Iran? From child support to marriage, there are all sorts of institutions that reward motherhood, not to mention social recognition. You're right. We should get rid of a bunch of these things like child support. I agree. Especially if you hold an identity that would otherwise other you. All right. When you're forming a sentence, don't use the word redundantly like this because it's not grammatically smart. It's difficult to flow as a sentence. That would have been better, especially if you hold an identity that would other you or that might other you, or there's a dozen different ways you can form that sentence. Anyway, in the words of writer Sarah Schulman, I don't know who that is, in describing queer single moms. Oh, that's derogatory, man. That's a slur word. Single motherhood, which is significant among queer women, has its own significant emotional pitfalls. One's self-perception as a romantic failure, as a failed partner, may be erased by some kind of normativity produced by motherhood. Queer women without partners are particularly vulnerable to the promise of legitimacy and social worth if they assume sex and love into parenting. What's the percentage of those people? Like 2% of the population? Talk about nuance. This desire to strive for motherhood as an act of normalcy is not surprising. Not long ago, women in the States were legally bound to the role of motherhood of and spouse, often not being able to own property. Are you talking about like the 1700s? Because there were still women that owned property back then. While women's legal rights have increased in some parts of the world, what does this have to do with parenting? This mindset that women are meant to be mothers and mothers alone still exists to this day. Yeah, in like the Middle East, traditional, like India, maybe Pakistan, Afghanistan. Where are you talking about? Because I don't think that's like a U.S. thing. Western countries don't really have that attitude anymore. Single women are judged very harshly for deciding not to be mothers. They're often pressured to take on this role by their peers and family. Well, that's your choice of association group. You don't have to talk to your family or your peers. Like, I don't like your people's attitude. I'm leaving. Or alternately, it could be some kind of biological impulse. So what does all this sociology nonsense have to do with multiverse of madness? And more specifically, what does it have to do with Wanda Maximoff? We all are wondering with bated breath. Even though Wanda has godlike powers, she is still a woman in our society and susceptible to the pressure of achieving normalcy through motherhood. Like what Schulman suggests, she seeks out the role of mother to make up for her perceived failures as a romantic partner and an other. No, her husband died. The Vision, he died. That's not a perceived failure on her part as a romantic partner. He was murdered. Not by her, shockingly. The show WandaVision has her clinging to an idealized fantasy of motherhood as a coping mechanism for the death of her lover Vision. Like I just said, not a perceived failure of a romantic partner. He fucking died. She enslaves the town of Westview, yeah, kind of fucked up, and puppets his residents to act out a suburban fantasy where she creates a psychic version of Vision and two fake children to act as a mother. Technically, this is more like a fantasy that she constructed to cope with the loss of what their relationship was. You know, because they were, as the story progressed in WandaVision, we learned that he had bought this land for her to build a house so they could form a family. But the thing was, she was regressing to her childhood ideas of what family was based on the TV shows they watched as a kid. So I don't think this person actually watched the show. Multiverse of Madness, or MOM for short, heightens this desire. Wanda knows through interactions with the Darkhold, an evil magic book that has corrupted her, that the multiverse is a version of reality where her fake children from Westview are real. Wanda now wants to travel to this reality because she believes she could be happy there, saying, if you knew there was a universe where you were happy, wouldn't you want to go there? Given everything we've talked about so far, it's not hard to understand why she would think this way. People genuinely believe motherhood is, if not a justification, at least an empathic reason for unspeakable acts of terror. As one Rotten Tomato reviewer commented on this film, the trauma of losing parents and siblings and spouses, and the desires for a mother to be with her children combined with unlimited power and a demonic influence, it's the most awesome and believable motivation. Yeah. Look, having recently experienced the loss of a relative, actually a couple of them, I understand that. I think about my brother all the time. I think about the things that I would like to tell him about, and then I remember that he's dead. I see something on something coming out on the entertainment front, and I'm like, oh, he'd love this. And then I remember that he's gone. And that is painful. And if you're a very powerful person that is corrupted by an evil influence, yeah, you'd be tempted to act out exactly the way Wanda did, because she didn't process the trauma in a healthy way. And she's probably a very damaged person from living in Sokovia, having lost her parents at a young age, and then having to deal with that similar trauma later on would break people. So her motivation is understandable, but I'm not sure where they're going with this. Wanda does a lot of terrible things to reach her objective of motherhood, yet because she's corrupted. She kills many people, including an alternate version of Captain Marvel and Mr. Fantastic, but in doing so, she justifies to protect her children. What if they get sick? Wanda rationalizes why she must drain America Chavez of her dimension-hopping powers most likely kill. Yeah, that's what evil is. Bad people do bad things. In the infinite multiverse, there's a cure for every illness. There's a solution to every problem. I won't lose them again. Yeah, it's an obsessive desire to not lose something that you love. She's already experienced so much trauma. I don't understand what this has to do with motherhood. Truthfully, our society allows mothers and the patriarchs that they serve to do a lot of awful acts under the banner of protecting their children. For example, the anti-vaxxer movement, wow, that's out of left field, is often framed by proponents as mothers defending their children from harm. I would refer you to articles on SADS. Early support for this movement came from the irrational... I can't go on with that. Get in trouble with YouTube. But yeah, this was debunked. Hardcore. That guy was a fraud. Even though disease is brought on by a far worse than the ableist fear. Oh, ableist fear? Okay. Have you ever met somebody that's really autistic? Like, actually seriously nonverbal autistic and not internet autistic? I wouldn't wish it on anyone. One of my friends has twins that are both autistic. And I babysat them once. And I used to work with kids with severe behavior handicaps. I had a lot of trouble with that. It's difficult to do, and I feel bad for parents with severely autistic kids. This whole spectrum of autism shit. I'm not going to get started on it, but a lot of people are just socially awkward. Ableist fear of autism. Severe autism is what the fear was. That's a much different thing entirely. And parents do have the right to decide what gets in their child's body. You don't have to like that. It's just the worry of the world. You can disagree with someone's choices. That doesn't make them wrong. This is a very judgmental article. And look, I am pro-vaccine. For the most part. I got my polio shots. Got my whooping cough shots. We're not going to talk about the new ones. But yeah, the concept of motherhood and protecting one's children is often used on a societal level to harm all sorts of people. Right now, we're going through a moral panic. I really can't talk about this either. Yeah, we're talking about the Don't Say Gay bill, which I can't really talk about without getting in trouble. This is fucking dumb. You're really reaching. Just because somebody doesn't want their kid's dick chopped off doesn't mean that influences motherhood. This is fucking insane. Ultimately, Multiverse of Madness skews these desires by making them the primary motivations of its villain. Refreshing change, given that many of the Marvel villains have historically had leftist motivations. What? So you don't think taking away children from someone is a leftist motivation? Allow me to introduce you to communism, where everything is owned by the state. With Wanda, we see how far the modern conception of motherhood can be pushed, and it's downright toxic. Anything can be made into something toxic. It's all about perspective. This is fucking stupid. Frost, did you send me the most ridiculous articles? Source, movie rejects Wanda's twisted form of motherhood. Her desires are not seen as justified, and it's the collective welfare of children that is advocated for. Is there no peace in knowing that even though you can't be with the ones you love, there are worlds where you are together? Strange ass Wanda, a message that her alternate self eventually repeats back to her at the end of the film. This is the opposite moral of our society's "my children come first" mentality. No. They weren't Wanda's kids. He knows that, right? Like, these were the alternate universes Wanda's. The 636 or whatever. The other universe already had a Wanda, and this Wanda was trying to abduct those children. That made her the bad guy. She was trying to steal someone's children, which is really bad because she's wearing the outfit of a Sokovian gypsy. the old legends were that gypsies steal children. Nobody wants to talk about that, right? But that Wanda was willing to die for her children. And the Wanda from the 616 was trying to steal them. As we can see, it's not enough to want to protect your children, or in Wanda's case, to conjure them into existence. That was part of a delusion and a coping mechanism. You have to care about other people's too. No, I don't. And in an era where motherhood is often used as a pretext to perpetuate selfishness and harm to others, you're a fucking tard. The Multiverse of Madness refreshingly tells its viewers that there is more to think about than your individual family. She was obsessed with her own family. What the fuck are you talking about? She was obsessed with children that didn't belong to her, too, which is super creepy. Love the ones you're with. Yeah, Peter, I remember that book. I have a copy around somewhere. I haven't read it since college. But yeah, it basically is the wealthy elite solidifying their power because they're the ones that are going to be in charge. Everybody else goes up against the wall. So yeah, I dropped the link if you guys want to read that. But that's fucking dumb. That was painful, man. Anybody can write on Medium, and that's very obvious because that's just made no sense. 5150 creepy, right? All right, let's talk about D&D. So, as some of you are aware, they're going to do a new version of Dungeons & Dragons. 5th edition is going away, and they're bringing in this new one. Wizards of the Coast teases 2023 D&D product slate. Planescape's coming back. I'm sure that won't be totally woke. Ugh. Keys from the Golden Vault is coming in winter 2023. It's an anthology of short adventures because nobody can write a long-form adventure anymore, revolving around heist. Next up, Big B presents Glory of the Giants is a sister companion to Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. That'll hit stores in spring. Book focuses purely on the taxonomy of giants, much like Fizban's did for dragons. Yeah, nobody read Giantcraft 30 years ago. The Book of Many Things is a collection of creatures and locations coming in summer. 2023 is chock full of player-facing content tied to the lore of the Deck of Many Things artifact. That's something nobody needed. There will also be a Phandelver campaign coming in the summer, which expands the Lost Mines of Phandelver into a full adventure and adds cosmic horrors to the mix. Release schedule teaser wrapped up with announcement of Planescape for the fall of 2023. Like Spelljammer, it will be a 3-book campaign setting in a slipcase. So there's the lineup. But this isn't the only announcement because we're also going to see... Yeah, 2nd edition was best edition. I don't care. Bring back live action 70s Spider-Man. Dare to Dream. No. So we jump over here to D&D Beyond, and they're doing playtesting for 1 D&D. So you, too, can start playtesting this. It's in 2024, my bad. But they are cleaning up the rules and getting rid of a lot of stuff you're going to like. Yeah, it's going straight up diversity, Rodline. They're getting rid of racial stuff, like the racial feats, things like that. So no longer will orcs be super strong because they're genetically built that way. No, that's racist. Racist. Wait, what's this? Come on, damn it. My system's locking up. Why did it put that on the screen? Whatever. Hold on, I have an article about more on this, but I forgot to pull it up. Shit, I don't remember. But if you want to help play test this and give them feedback, that link will take you there. The D&D Beyond. All right, here it is. Pull this up real quick. It's from Game Rant. I just grabbed the first version of it, so it's on MSN. One D&D is the next wave of D&D products, bringing new content to Wizards of the Coast legendary tabletop. The One D&D trailer reveals that the company is moving away from using edition titles. Instead, okay, my speaker shut off. I forgot it was on. The One D&D trailer reveals that the company is moving. Just read that. Instead of planning to expand and perfect the existing 5th edition rule set. This might not be a bad move, as D&D 5th edition has proved to be one of the most popular systems in the game's long history. No, if it's proving to be popular, why would you move away from it? An updated set of rules and character options could carry the popularity for another decade. No, it's just going to piss off people that bought the 5th edition books. There are 3 aspects to One D&D. The first is a slew of rules, changes, and expansions that will kick off with updated versions of the Monster Manual, DMG, and Player's Handbook in 2024. The second is overhaul of the D&D Beyond website, giving players new tools and features to support their D&D experience. The final aspect is the D&D Digital Play Experience, an official virtual tabletop that will allow players to play with 3D maps and characters, powered by Unreal Engine. Players won't have to wait until 2024 to start experiencing the rules changes coming in the new Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and DMG. Starting from August, that's now, Wizards of the Coast will be releasing monthly or bi-monthly playtesting materials, allowing players to get their hands on beta versions of the new rules and features. These Unearthed Arcana articles will also give players a chance to shape One D&D as it develops, offering feedback and criticism as they play. The first of these Unearthed Arcana articles is the Character Origins playtest, which is already available for download for anyone who is registered at the D&D Beyond website. The playtest contains plenty of new rules that are focused around backgrounds and race choices. Oh my. Many of the original Player's Handbook races have been expanded with new racial traits for the first time, including the ability to choose to be small rather than medium for human and tieflings. You can be a midget, guys. Oh boy, a midget. Do you get a wheelchair? In addition to play... Stop auto-loading stuff. What the hell's with the Ed Grimley hair, dude? That tells me everything I need to know right now. Playtest contains plenty of new rules that are focused around backgrounds and race choices. Many of the original Player's Handbook races have been expanded with new racial traits for the first time, including the ability to choose. I just read that. In addition, the playtest content also outlines the Ardlings, a brand new race that are influenced by the higher planes of existence, just as the devil-like tieflings are influenced by the lower planes. Compared to the playtest content, very little has been revealed so far about new features coming to D&D Beyond. In One D&D, the main attraction highlighted in the One D&D reveal trailer is addition of digital and physical product bundles. These specially priced bundles will allow players to buy a physical copy of a source or adventure book to also get access to a digital version of that book in D&D Beyond. First bundle, which contains the upcoming book Dragonlance Shadow of the Dragon Queen, is already available in the D&D store. Buying a physical digital bundle will give players more than just the digital version of the book in D&D Beyond. However, they also gain all the pre-order perks associated with the digital content as well. Oh, it's like a video game now. As well as the ability to use and share any rules that it adds through D&D Beyond. Unless you get booted off D&D Beyond, then you're probably going to lose all this stuff too, because they're going to just seize your library like Steam does. It's this connectivity that allows players to add content directly to the D&D Beyond character creator, expanding their D&D character options with new purchase. Players can expect these features to expand as One D&D rolls out, and it's already been revealed they will be able to connect their D&D Beyond accounts directly to the new D&D digital play experience, which means if you lose one, you'll lose the other one. Players will be able to experience all the One D&D changes and updates through the D&D digital experience and official virtual tabletop. So now when there's a rules change, they'll just automatically do it to your system, whether you want it or not. At the moment, third-party VTTs like Roll20 and Foundry are the most popular way to play D&D 5th Edition online, as long as you have the right politics, otherwise you get booted off Roll20. Wizards of the Coast will now be entering that field with a brand new 3D VTT built in Unreal Engine 5. D&D Digital is currently in early development, but footage from the one D&D reveal trailer shows players will be able to customize models, battle maps, and encounters in the 3D environment. Whatever happened to just hanging out with your friends at a table with a bag of Cheetos and some shitty miniatures and some graph paper? VTT will also utilize a tilt-shift camera technique to give the feel of playing on a real tabletop and to help separate D&D Digital from CRPGs. Unfortunately, players who want to get their hands on the new system are going to be in for a long wait. Although no release date has been given for D&D Digital, the D&D Beyond website reveals that Wizards of the Coast is planning to launch a closed beta test of the VTT somewhere in 2023. The time frame indicates the company is aiming for the full release to coincide with the final 1 D&D rule updates in 2024, Player's Handbook, Monster Manual, and DMG. So there you go. They're going to change a bunch of shit so that weenies like this can fucking say how righteous they are and that orcs are racist. I foresee D&D players leaving digital. I don't know, man. I think D&D is squarely locked in with the progressives, and anybody that even has anything remotely desiring adventure where they murder a bunch of monsters and go loot things are going to be very, very sorely disappointed. It's going to be a bunch of like, oh, let's sit around and talk like junior theater for a while. Ugh. Yeah, I'm sticking with second edition. F this new system. I hear you. They're ruining everything in life because they got their talons and everything. There are some what they call old school tabletop games that are on like Amazon. There's like White Box and Basic Fantasy and some others that are reasonably priced that I would much rather use those systems and just adapt stuff. Orcs are super racist if you see them as black people. Yeah, but they're just orcs. They're not black people. The online game someone else is above you. Yep, they control your game effectively. But that's what they want. They want to be able to top down tell players you can't do that. Oh, you want to modify the rules? Too bad. Too bad. You are forced to do this. But while I was pulling that article up, it would appear that there is a photo out for promotional photo art for Black Panther 2. Let me find this. Do you have the actual fucking photo or not? No, apparently not. Yeah, they're not going to show it. Let's see the original tweet. I fucking hate Screen Rant so much. They're such garbage. Oh, it's a link to another company. Okay, hang on. Man, this is a shit stream. I tell you, I'm all over the place today. Oh, that's a tiny fucking picture. That doesn't show me anything. All right, this is going to be kind of garbage, but the show looks like it's going to be kind of garbage anyway. You know who the bad guy is for Ironheart? It's the Hood. So this tiny ass picture here that it won't let me expand on. Anthony Ramos. Okay, that's not useful. Hides underneath red cloak on the set of Marvel's Ironheart in Atlanta, Georgia on Monday, August 8th. 30-year-old actor was seen shooting scenes with actress Dominique Thorne, who plays Riri Williams. Look at this garbage armor. That looks like shit. And they had to CGI all the legs on it. So they have the Hood, who has no armor and just has a magic cloak. And he looks like he wandered off the shitty Amazon Lord of the Rings set versus somebody in armor. That's weird. Yeah, that looks like dog shit. I know that's a small picture. Sorry, guys. So that's from Just Jared, which is a gossip site. So if you want to look at that. Discombobulated Jack Streams, a good stream. God, I'm glad somebody likes it because I am all over the place. Yeah, man, that She-Hulk show. I fell asleep on my kitchen table because I've got the computer set up on my table, and I woke up with my face down on the table, and I'm like, "What the fuck happened?" I thought I fainted or something, but I just fell asleep because I was so bored, and my neck hurt really bad because it is quite a distance down. So yeah, Ironheart's gonna be stupid. She's gonna be in the Wakanda Forever too, so which I hate what they're doing with Namor. That really pisses me off. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up there. They're fucking up D&D. They're making Magic into Fortnite. They literally are having a Fortnite expansion, apparently, as well as Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who, which we talked about. The race swapping. We've talked about a lot today. Race swapping Aragorn and Magic the Gathering's Lord of the Rings expansion, the Doctor Who set coming to Magic the Gathering, which probably be stupid too. I might pick a couple packs up to get some cards of like the Tom Baker Doctor because I like those. But and then we found out about Eagle Moss screwing up their model, which sorry Grizz, man, that sucks. So yeah, quite a lot happened. But thank you all for coming. Thank you for the generous donations. You guys are awesome. Hope you've all had fun. I did. I always have fun doing these. And hopefully we'll see you on the next one. But you guys have a wonderful day. Do something exciting so I can pretend I did it. And I'm going to take a nap. In the meantime, see you on the next one, guys. Bye, everybody.